Hey, this is Chase Sexton. You're listening to the MotoXpod show.
What's up, you guys? Jeremy McGrath here. You are listening to MotoXpod show.
What's up? We are back. We took a week off for Loretta's, but we're ready to dive into a new Vitalmix MotoXpod show presented by Racetech and Yamaha Motor USA. And tonight we have a big guest list from Loretta's, including NSA Yamaha's Avery Long, Muck-Off FXR Club MX Yamaha owner Brandon Haas. He was the Junior Plus 25 winner.
Plus 30?
Or Plus 30 winner, sorry. Yep, that is correct. Thank you. Good job, Scotty. We have monster athlete Aidan Zingg. He is the Super Mini 2 champion and second Super Mini 1. We have SLR Honda's Mikayla Nielsen. She got third in WMX. And then we have SLR Honda's Parker Ross on the phone tonight. So lots of Loretta's talk. We'll go over our thoughts on Loretta's. It's the first time I went to the amateur race, so I got to hang out a little bit, see some things. It was a lot of fun. Pretty cool experience. We'll talk a little bit about upcoming Unadilla. And of course, get into our segments. So before we do all that, first guest or in studio, as always, Scotty Thompson, working YouTube, chat, and cameras.
As always.
As always.
Yep. What's up?
How's it feel to be back?
It's good, man.
Nice week off?
Watched a lot of the Reddit, so at least there was some racing there.
You probably watched more than I did.
Probably. I mean, I had it on in the background pretty much whenever it was on. So
yeah.
I mean, can't say I watched every single race, but if I was at the house, it was on somewhere.
Yeah, we'll get into that, but also in studio, not as always, but as sometimes.
Sometimes.
Anytime I don't have a
TJ.
job. Anytime I don't have a job, I'm in studio.
Yeah, well, I like it when you don't have a job.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I run out of money around January, so we need to do something before then. As long as I don't go back to work till January.
No, because Supercross starts in January. We need you in studio, so just be a bum.
Go work during the off season.
Yeah.
Is there an off season anymore?
No.
Yeah, really not. No. Couple weeks.
Well, before we get to our guests, let's get into our first topic or first segment of the night, the Racetech Open Discussion. And Racetech is the world's largest aftermarket motorcycle suspension modification company. They have over 35 years of experience providing factory-level suspension to the everyday rider. Racetech Gold Valves provide a plush feel with drastically improved bottoming resistance and increased traction. All Racetech products are 100% guaranteed and made in the USA. Don't forget, MotoXpodShow@gmail.com. That's how you get a hold of us. Reach out if you want to get involved with the segments, such as the Yamaha Motor USA highs and lows, the T-Bolt USA Top 5. All those things are coming up. Questions, comments, guest questions, etc. MotoXpodShow@gmail.com. If you like to play fantasy, go to the Vital MX website. You can sign up for the free fantasy game. There is a MotoXpod Show League. Get involved. Have some fun. Anyway, Racetech Open Discussion. Yeah, Loretta's has come and gone. Scotty, what did you take away? What stood out? What do you think about Loretta's this year?
It looked hot.
Yep, it was.
It looked like they. I mean, it was good racing. I mean, there was a lot of stories, and the track. I think that it's crazy how the track got faster. It got more worked in. Like it was like the first two days when I was watching it. Like if it looks gnarly on the Racer X broadcast, then you know it's crazy because like you watch them on the live show and it looks one way, and then you see like a video footage of somebody that was like standing on the side of the track, and it's like God, they're going so fast, but it doesn't look like that on the show. So
see, I kept saying it didn't look as rough as years past on TV to me. Now, I can only see certain sections.
Only the first 2 days is what I'm saying. Like, the track looked like it got worked in more. Oh. It didn't look as bad.
Yeah, it didn't.
Like, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
That's kind of, and then, like, Kiefer and the guys were like, oh, you're not out there. I'm like, no, but normally it looks like there's so many more ruts, TJ, than I felt like there were this year because it didn't rain. Going there, it was supposed to rain every day, and then it didn't rain. Yeah. It was hot as could be almost, but yeah, I didn't think it looked that rough. I was kind of like, I feel like I might actually be able to ride okay on some of this.
Yeah, I think he, and I didn't think about it until Scotty said that. I believe it did get better as the week went on.
Yeah.
As far as like the first few days on Racer, like on Racer TV or whatever, it was pretty gnarly. And I was like looking at that going,
Yeah, they were standing up and pedaling through a lot of the ruts. And
yeah, it was way deeper.
the fastest lap times were like on Thursday or Friday.
I wonder if they were just
No. Well, maybe consistently, but Caden Dudney put the fastest laps in on Wednesday and Thursday. He had the two fastest laps of the week.
On Thursday.
What did you say?
I said Thursday, Friday.
Oh, I thought you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm texting Avery Long to make sure he's ready, and I thought you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
I thought you said
You're good.
early in the week. Sorry.
But no, they I wonder if the chances of rain every day made them like just keep sealing the track instead of
Oh, and it didn't. Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't. From everything I've heard, it's not a fun track. Like it's.
Yeah,
I've ridden the replica tracks of it a couple times, a couple different tracks who've built replicas.
I've done two also. Yeah.
Yeah, and the track layout seems fun. Now, as far as riding it when it gets that rough, doesn't
Yeah,
seem
and I
fun.
think it's tight and it's
Yes.
like narrow, so I think that's the biggest one of the bigger complaints. Weather, very hot, very humid, but again, I wasn't riding, I wasn't in gear. But I was like, oh yeah, man, I'm used to this. Like this is every day. Like Kiefer and Dave Martinez, his buddy, and some of our friends. Everyone's it's so hot, it's so humid. I'm like, this is how it feels at home every day to me.
I was outside
So-
today, and I've got some property I have to clear off when I get back from Alabama. And I was telling my wife, I was like, it's barely noon, and I'm already like burning up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was hot. They were very long days. We'll get into my experience in a second. What about Drew Adams, though? Drew Adams was the standout, right?
He better have been.
Yeah, I guess so. Even motos where he had a bad start, like his very first moto of the week, came up to third, I believe. He went 3.85 and no, that's not right. I don't have that.
Hold on, I got.
Yeah, I don't have it right in front of me. But he went 1.11 in a couple classes.
Pro
I should have
sport,
pulled up. You know what? Hang on. I'm sounding like an
I
idiot.
got it.
Yeah,
I think he got third in his first moto of the week.
Fourth. He went
Fourth,
four,
okay.
4.11.
Because he came from dead last almost.
Yeah, and he was in. He got up to sixth
it was
relatively quick, and then the top five guys had probably put a little bit of a gap.
Yeah.
And it didn't look like he was going to stay sixth. Then all of a sudden the results came in, and he'd got two on the last lap.
JT and I talked about it because we watch it a lot. We watch it every year, and it was boring this year.
Well, there was one open pro sport moto that was
just the racing was not
fantastic.
good. Okay, yeah.
But
I'm talking about in general.
yeah, and there was moments like the WMX race. There was a couple moments where like Lala Turner was battling Kylie Stallings, had caught her, was going to pass her, and then she fell. And
Yeah.
of course the Shorty Brownie ending the race was exciting. But overall, maybe
Were you
you're
there
right.
when that happened, or did you already left?
I was at the finish line.
Oh, so you saw it.
Well, I shouldn't say that. I was at the podium, where the staging and all that. So I saw him coming off the track, but I couldn't tell exactly why he was mad. I knew he was mad. Couldn't really see what had happened.
He should have. You don't ditch the podium because
Yeah, a lot of people are hating on him. I mean, yeah, he was.
Who ditched the podium? I missed it.
So Brown
Brownie,
got
yep.
Shorty was not supposed to did not look like he was going to beat Brownie. Brownie had him covered, and then Shorty made a last lap charge and
two laps.
Yeah, and then caught him like literally like jumped in front of him on the very last second, and Brown rode off. He didn't go to the check-in. He didn't go.
How can you get by not going to impound?
He dropped his bike off.
Oh, okay.
So he thought here's what the way I understand it from talking to him and everybody else. The way the timing loop was, it was sort of an angle compared to where the flagger was with the checkered. Where the checkered flag was, Brownie won. But by the time they got to the scoring loop, Shorty had passed him just enough.
So
like it was like 0.001 or something.
He's trying to say that he let up.
He thought he won is all he's saying. He didn't let up, but he got caught up with a lapper. He tried to get out of the rut. The bike jumped sideways and he made some mistakes, and he had let up a little too much.
Was that just
it was
the moto,
on him,
or for that was that
just the very last moto of the day? They split motos 1,
Right.
2, 2, 1.
So that was for the overall.
Yes,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So he was heated, and like he admitted it was on him. He was just, this is Brownie, man.
Yeah.
But he went to the podium. Got off the bike and was about to like almost just throw his bike over, but the AMA guy was there, so the AMA guy just grabbed it, and Brownie was like yelling something at the podium, and then he just walked off and went back to the pit. So I followed a couple minutes later with my camera, and I sat down right in front of him and said, "Hey, let's do an interview." And he said, "F you."
Yeah. I wonder.
By that time, he had actually already gotten the photo finish and realized, okay, he was fine.
Yeah.
Probably 10 minutes later, he was fine.
Did you get an interview?
I waited till the next day.
Oh, okay.
He's like, can we just do it tomorrow? I was like, yeah, that's cool. No big deal. So I did do it the next day. So it's up on Vital
He gets up the next day and leaves at 9.
Well, when I got there the next day, like I was like, oh, I don't think he has a moto today. He's probably not here.
Yeah.
He screwed me,
Yeah.
but he was. But
He didn't have a
I
moto
do want
on
to give a
Saturday?
shout out. Our guest tonight, Avery Long, second overall, was very, very good all week. Race tech rider.
Yep.
And then also Diesel. What's Diesel's last name?
Thomas.
Diesel Thomas, 2-time champ on race tech suspension. He broke both his femurs and was life flighted out of Freestone last year. Won a title in spring this year, and then now 2 Loretta's. So, and then Ryan Seiss has been coaching him. But shout out to a couple race tech champions there.
And I've known him since he was like, my wife and I were talking about it since he was little.
Yeah.
Like 65s, I think. He's a good kid. Good family. The family's awesome.
But we'll get into Drew Adam or Avery Long and when he's on the show. And shout out to a couple of our Texas guys. Michael Keating did really well. 7th in plus 45, went 6.11.8 on the 2-stroke.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then plus 50, he went 10.97. I mean, in plus 50, that's with Brownie and Emig, and got 7th overall in that class too.
Yeah.
Not bad. Unfortunately, our good buddy Michael Gage had a terrible week.
He burned out early.
First moto of the week, the bike started having problems, and there was a bunch of metal shavings in the oil, so he called it, was going to leaving to go back to the Airbnb. The van broke down, or he had bad really like muddy diesel that he had picked up somewhere.
Oh.
And there was nowhere. Every shop he called in the area said they couldn't get to it till next week to drop the tank.
All right.
So our other buddy, Steve Williamson, who owns 6 Feet Under, grabbed the trailer, drove all the way up there, loaded his van on the trailer, brought him all the way home.
Your text makes so much more sense. He had to drive all the way out there to Hurricane.
Yeah, because Michael was going farther away from the track to the Airbnb when the van broke. So he was a little past the track.
How hard is it to drain the tank?
Well, it was full. Where are you going to drain it? On the interstate?
I mean, just pull it off the road and then drop the tank.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know.
Disappointed in Michael.
Okay. But, anybody else stand out? Like, Caden Dudney, one of our local guys, crushed it.
Yeah, he did. We were at Swan.
Yeah, that was the first time he'd been on the bike in months because he was coming off an injury.
Were you out there?
Yeah,
He was
when he
like
was dragging
throwing
bars.
Yeah, that was when I saw that. I'm like, yeah, Caden's gonna win some stuff. You know, like that was just pure talent what he was doing out there. And then he didn't throw it around like that out at Loretta's, but he definitely was moving fast. So
right, he was good. He was pretty dominant in his class.
Yeah,
kid. You want to see that? You see some of these kids, and you go, "Oh, that kid's got a bright future." You really don't know.
Yeah, nowadays you really don't.
Yeah, like Jet
but
Reynolds.
very impressive.
Yamaha rider Cade Johnson I think he went top 5 in 250 and 450B limited.
Bad starts,
struggled.
right?
Well,
Bad
He
starts.
apparently he was sick the whole time.
Oh, yeah, I think I did see that.
So he was like in one of the hotter Lorettas. I think he showed some. Obviously wasn't what was expected of him. I think he was kind of one of the favorites to win that class.
Yeah.
But to get top 5s, basically getting bad starts and having to push and being sick. Shout out to him for grinding through it.
It makes
and
a
not
lot of
quitting.
sense now that you said that because I didn't know he was sick.
Yeah, he had some posts that were saying that like he's like I pushed my body to places that I didn't think it could go and that kind of stuff. So I guess he was fighting something.
Dude, that family is awesome.
Yeah, they're a good family.
And we'll have Aidan Zingg on a little bit, but that was a kid that I met at the regional at Fox. He's friends with like Aiden Kiefer, and he came up in my class. I was on the gate, and he's like, "Hey, I bet on you to win." I was like, "Why would you do that? You've never seen me ride." And I said, "You bet money?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, that was a mistake." But then he ends up going out and winning Super Mini 1 or second Super Mini 1, first and Super Mini 2 this weekend. Really cool kid, cool family. He's going to be on a little bit. So shout out to him. He's one of Paul Parabino's kids. Not literally kids, but like his riders.
So like seemed like every person at the top of the what's the class that doesn't allow pro licensed people in the vet class.
The 30 and the 45.
The 45 class, the plus 45 class.
That would be my class.
That was your class.
Yeah.
Everybody in there is built like me. Like
there's some big boys, but
Yeah.
they ride a lot better than you though.
Oh,
there's some fast big dudes.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like I was looking at that and I'm like, man, if I was Jamie and I was working out and getting in shape and doing all that, and all those fat dudes beating me, I would be mad.
They would have still beat me because Fireman Dave, who's definitely a better rider on me, certainly on the West Coast, keep his buddy. First of all, he's not used to this kind of dirt. He was saying the same thing I was about their dirt.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
oh, this dirt, I just can't get used to it. It's so sticky. But anyway, he went in plus 45, 27, 31, 34. And he is way faster than me on the West Coast.
There's no chance that he would be faster than you out
I'm
here.
not going to say that. He might. I'll at least say he'd at least be equal to, because he is a better rider.
No, you've gotten really, really good riding in ruts. And
Well,
stuff.
regardless, outside the top 20. But he had a good weekend. I'm going to be doing a story on him. Speaking of,
And I blew out one of the guys who was winning that class and jumped on a lapper.
Kelleher,
Yeah, Kelleher jumped on a lapper and then get on the podium where they did an interview with him.
because they're making fun of him.
And, well, he's like, that dude jumped on me, jumped in my way, and I videoed it in slow motion and posted it on Instagram. It pissed me off. So I don't know why it made me so mad.
I also want to give a shout out real quick to Monica Colvin. I went to Loretta's with a story idea that Michael Lindsay came up with that we're going to kind of do a story on. Like, I almost want to say sad stories, like struggle stories to get to Loretta's, or heartwarming stories to get to Loretta's. So I was kind of asking around, and we talked to this lady, Monica Colvin. She runs the RDC Foundation, and it's rdcracing.com. Her son passed away at Mesquite last year at the qualifier for Loretta's.
They get a crash?
Yeah. And she started a foundation that gives scholarships. So she got in touch with me. There's a couple stories I'm going to work on over the next couple weeks in Vital. But yeah, Monica Colvin, RDC Foundation. If you guys don't know about it, check out rdcracing.com. I think all the stories are actually on the website. You can check it out. I'm sure you can contribute and help these families out if you want.
That's awesome.
It's a really cool thing. So yeah, we'll continue our Loretta's discussion here
Somebody
in a second.
said Keeper's buddy got beat by the Mako.
I think he did in one moto. Kiefer told him in the last one, if you don't beat the Mako, I can't remember what the bet was, but yeah, you could just see Dave doing everything he could to catch the guy with the Mako. And
Dude, I wish they would have put that.
Dave crashed though.
They never put the Mako rider on the TV the whole time I was watching. I was bummed. I really wanted to see how it handled. Did you get to watch the bike at all?
Oh yeah, I saw him go by. Yeah,
Was the guy moving?
Yeah, he was riding good. Yeah, it's just like Randy Richardson. Randy Richardson.
Yeah, he
shredding.
had top 10.
Yeah.
What was he riding?
One of his older two strokes.
Okay,
I don't remember which
cool.
bike.
It was a modern bike.
It was a modern.
It wasn't like a 2023.
But,
it was a Husky.
It was a single shock
maybe.
modern bike.
Yeah, it was a
wasn't
newer
a Mako.
Husky.
I didn't mean that, but
No, it was a newer Husky.
let's jump into the race tech or the Yamaha Motor USA highs and lows real quick. Yamaha Motor USA has a reputation for dominance. It doesn't happen overnight. It's built over decades. The YZ story is 50 years of iconic machines and groundbreaking innovations. Yamaha's new 50th anniversary edition YZs pay tribute to a half-century of championship-winning performance wrapped in stunning retro style. So check them out at YamahaMotorsports.com or go to your local dealership. And I was very, very sad, shed a little tear dropping my Yamaha off Wednesday when I got there, or Thursday, I guess it was the next day, Thursday.
I got another bike.
And it sat there like on the display, like behind the display all week. So every time I walked by, I was like, oh. And then like Cooper Webb and a few of those other guys like, oh, I see your bike over there. It's like,
Still have your numbers on it and stuff like
yeah,
that?
yeah. Still got my graphics. And then, of course, Mike Ulrich was like, dude, I should have just had you bring it back to the ride day in a month. You could have kept it another month. It's like, cool, man.
I'll take it back.
I didn't have enough room because I had to pick up a 79. Damn it, I was supposed to go out and do something with that bike. A 79 Honda Elsinore for A-Ray.
Yeah.
And then I had my KTM that I picked up. So I didn't really have room. I didn't have to tie downs. But
A-Ray's, isn't A-Ray from...
he's from Tennessee, but he lives in Cali.
Oh, okay.
So I picked up a bike up from his dad's house.
You got to drop it off.
And next time I go to Cali, I'm going to take it to
okay.
him. All right. Yamaha Motor USA, highs and lows. Who wants to go first?
I guess
Everybody
I'll go
speak up at
first.
once.
My high for the weekend was the Redneck Brawl. It was the greatest thing. It's the greatest thing you'll ever watch on
What
TV.
is that?
It's a, how would you explain it? I guess it's just basically, it's a wrestling kind of mentality where they hype up the fights of these like amateur boxers and everybody gets...
Amateur boxers is giving them a lot of credit.
It's giving a lot of credit.
Okay.
And there was 30 fights. And there was 3 1-minute rounds each fight.
Where was this?
It was in Oklahoma, but I watched pay-per-view. It's a pay-per-view.
Okay.
And
So you paid for that.
$22.
Dude, no, this
Holy crap.
I was gonna go watch it, but I ended up not being able to make it. But he texted me. He's like, "Hey, you coming to the Redneck Brawl this weekend?" I'm like, "TJ, I don't know what that is.
I don't understand how no one knows.
Never heard of it.
It was like common knowledge. He thought it was like common knowledge.
It is common knowledge.
No, I don't think it is.
Yeah. Anyways, that was it. And then my low was just Loretta's racing was boring.
All right. We got an email here from, let's see here. Great. I'm an idiot. Love this.
You see, he rushed me. He's like, "Come on,
Yeah, I know
what he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to see which one's which. 'Cause I have. All right, Faith Williams,
my-
highs and lows. Been getting my motos in about twice a week. See, I don't know whose are whose because I can't read
Like
them
a
now.
C plus, maybe a C plus.
Great. Here we go. Okay, Faith Williams. Mike Brown has competition now. Shorty. This is from before Loretta's.
Yeah.
Low, Mike Brown will most likely win. High, I saw your friend Michael Gage is in the top 5 in 50-plus practice. He was doing well. Thanks, Faith. Low, Aiden Kiefer is hurt. Was looking forward to watching him.
Yeah.
High, Drew Adams will win this week. Low, practice day or opening ceremonies wasn't streamed. High, Reed's kids are racing, although I'm concerned I didn't see any results of
I don't
Tate.
think it went well.
Nah, it didn't look like it did. I agree with that. Vincent Pale, getting in the gym, working 2 to 3 times a week. We got a 2022 KLX 140 and started to do some ergo and suspension mods with more to follow. My family got back from vacation, was missing my crew. Kind of bummed no USA Pro MX to watch. So those are his highs and lows. And Shane Bagley, high, travel to Charlotte for Hollywood Undead. Hellstorm and I Prevail. Good show. Hell yeah. Low, Storms Approach
Hell
and
yeah,
I Prevail
play
were
too.
kicked off stage 40 minutes into their set, and the concert was ended. That blows balls.
Who?
I Prevail?
So they did not prevail.
No, they did not. They got rained out. They did not prevail.
Oh,
Nice.
The rain. I got you.
What are your highs and lows, Scotty?
Well, my high would have been getting my bike fixed because I thought that I had, but it's still not.
Yeah.
So that's my low.
and I have nothing to do with this.
No, you've
It's
been
not-
you've been helping me.
No, I'm saying it's not my fault.
No,
fixed.
it's not.
No, okay.
So but my high would be
Nothing. You missed the redneck brawl. Your bike's not working.
yeah. I always enjoy, even though the racing probably could have been better a couple motos. I always enjoy Loretta's week and watching it.
Yeah.
So I'll use that as my high.
All right, my highs were going to Loretta's. It was a good time. I thought it was really cool. Made me much more motivated to get there next year and actually make it in. That is 100% a goal. Unadilla coming up this weekend. That I'm excited that we got another national. That's a high that we're getting ready.
That's
for.
what one of our listeners in the live chat, Raw84, says his high is back to pro racing this
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
And I picked up the KTM 350, the 25 model, so I'm excited about that. My low was returning the YZ 450. And speaking of Unadilla, let's move on in. We're coming up. Roxon's back. Then he'll be on a 250 for Ironman, which I think I'd like to talk more about that. What do you guys think about him doing Ironman on 250?
I think it'd be fun. I
Yeah,
think
it's gonna be cool.
That's just showing you how much fun he's having.
Yeah.
Riding and whatever.
Yeah. That'll be.
How do you think he does, Scotty?
I mean, the best an RMZ 250 has done in the 250 class in probably
Top 5?
4 years.
Top 5?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
Probably.
it's a good class, obviously. Think about the top 5.
Does he ride with any 250 riders? Like, is he
sure.
I mean,
training? No, I'm saying, is he training
Yeah.
with any 250 riders? The reason
Off
why
the
I
top of
ask
my head,
is
I'm not-
because that would really
been
help. If he is, he would be able to.
judge where he's at?
It's
Yeah.
been a long time since he's had to race high intensity like that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at like it.
Uh,
It took Savachi a little bit to get used to the rubbing racing and stuff like that.
I don't
so,
think he's used to it yet.
I mean, I think top 5 would be the goal, and like 6th or 7th, I wouldn't be surprised.
definitely top 10.
But he could go and win in 2. Yeah, maybe not win.
I don't know that I'll go win.
If he went 3-3, would you be surprised?
A little.
Yes.
Yeah, a little. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
If he top 5, you
What
wouldn't,
about
though?
Cooper Webb coming? Let's just talk about this weekend at Unadilla. Roxon and Cooper back on 450s.
Yeah.
Who finishes better? Where do they finish?
Ooh, that's
TJ?
a good one.
I would say Cooper is probably going to do better. But maybe, I don't know. But did Roxon race the outdoors last year?
Couple
A
races.
couple of
Remember,
them.
he was the only one that passed.
Yeah, he's the
Or
only
he's
one
the
that
only one that gave Jed a little bit of a run.
Yeah.
See, I'm going to go Roxon.
I think you may be right because
I don't like that
because Cooper's just getting on the bike like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
it's been about 2
Well,
weeks. Yeah, about
yeah.
two and a half.
Cooper's MO is takes him a minute, and then like as soon as you count him out, there he is.
Yeah.
Roxon's MO is he comes out lightning fast, and then injuries and stuff, catch up to him because of
Ejectocito.
Yeah, or he's probably better now, but there for a while it was because of the injuries he had in the past, he'd get halfway through the season and the wear and tear would get to him. So, but him coming into a round, however prepared he is, he's always going to show lightning speed. So I think I would pick Roczen to do better than Webb.
If you guys want to weigh in on this, MotoXpodShow@gmail.com. Send us your thoughts on who's gonna do better, who's gonna have the better finish. Give us your thoughts on where they finish. Maybe we'll give you a set of goggles. We'll give you some X brand goggles. We'll pick if somebody gets the order right, so Roczen over Cooper, Cooper over Roczen, and can get at least one of the finishing positions right.
Ooh.
We'll pick a winner for a set of X brand goggles.
Heck yeah.
MotoXpodShow@gmail.com. Don't DM me on Instagram. MotoXpodShow@gmail.com.
Unless it's your chick, then they can DM you and you'll accept
No,
that.
you got to follow the email rules.
Okay,
Yes, you can.
email rules.
Another shout out. I want to thank Dakota Gardner. He's the guy that brought my KTM all the way from California. He brought the bike out there to Loretta's. He was all the way out in parking lot 5.
That's way out there by the.
It was past her house, around the corner.
Did you ride that KTM?
Yeah, I rode it a couple days ago.
Yeah.
We need to tighten the steering stem a little bit. Steve's track was very, very, very dry, and it was just front end was like handlebars all over the place. When I'd go into a left-hand corner, that fucking front end would just shoot left, like it would lock all the way to go all the way to the stop, and right, same thing. And then going down straightaways, the back end was just dancing all over the braking bumps and dry.
Yeah, you just got to get it set up.
I would say also, yeah.
It was just very loose.
Drop the forks in the clamps.
I did. They're all the way.
Oh.
Yeah, at the first line. They're not flush. They're whatever that first line is, probably 3 mil, 4 mil?
Yeah, I think it's 5, isn't it?
Okay, 5.
5 mil, yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, apparently what he told me at the beginning of the show, the front brake works really good too.
No, that was on the Yamaha.
Oh,
That was a
it
couple
was?
weeks ago, yeah.
Oh, okay.
When I crashed a couple weeks ago also and bruised, I would say, what is it, sternum? This chest area? Yeah, I bruised that. And I think I'm kind of like when I did my ribs. I think when I went to work out, I'm tearing the cartilage from the bone because I felt okay until I started working out, and then it was just excruciating. So I'm going to have to chill down. But I also want to ride Swan this weekend before that race. So
What race?
the District 41, I think, is this weekend.
Is it this weekend?
I think so.
I will be going, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to ride Saturday.
That
I don't
sucks.
think
I
it
really
is.
wanted to race it.
Is
Huh?
it? I'll look.
I thought it was this weekend. I could be wrong. And one more piece of news before we move on to Avery Long. Shane McElrath is parted ways with Hep Suzuki. He's going to be racing Mad Parts Kawasaki, which kind of seems weird in the middle of the season.
Why? Yeah, I wonder what that's all about.
Yeah, I think Mathis tweeted it today, but I've heard it from a few other people too that's happening.
Do you have any insight of why?
You were right.
His results haven't been great. And then,
I mean, is it the team saying, hey, get out of here, or is it?
Yeah, I don't have those details yet. I reached out and I sent a couple texts, but I didn't get any responses. But, Colt's coming over. I think they're working on trying to get a couple other riders over. I feel like it might have been a little bit mutual. I don't think they were both happy with each other.
Gotcha.
But I don't know that for a fact.
It is this weekend?
Well, I had I don't know, we don't have much time, but I had Loretta's point that I...
Yeah, go ahead. Because I was going to get back to Loretta's for a second anyway.
So the only thing that's kind of... We have had the discussion of being in between, kind of, we're intermediate riders, but we're really kind of fast C-class for vet guys. And the Loretta's has 5 C-classes that kids can ride.
Mm-hmm. Like a 250C or 450C?
Yeah,
like
and I know that I technically...
Anybody can ride that.
I know that I could go ride 450C or 250C. I don't want to go race 17, 18-year-old kids
Yeah,
at
no chance
Loretta's.
you'd make it.
I wouldn't make it. And so, but there's 5 classes of the C class that those kids can ride. But as a 30 plus or a 40 plus guy, there's 2, like I could ride 25 plus and 30 plus, and 25 plus has pros in it that I'm never going to really make.
But let's be honest, Loretta's is not for us.
I know, but if there's all those, there's all these C classes for the younger kids, there should be like a 35 or like halfway through up, a 35 C class that you could qualify for.
We've had this discussion before about adding different classes. It already gets over at Saturday at like 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Just one class.
But then somebody else is going to be like, well, what about this class? We want this class. Well, that's another class. Well, what about this class?
It just seemed like every time I looked up, I was watching like a 125 or...
it's for kids for the most part.
But it's for the up and comer. Like the vet stuff is just for the way to make more money.
I guess, but...
And then look at all the sandbaggers we have in the vet C right now. Think about all the guys that would never...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They would never leave C.
The only way you could do it is
I don't know.
if
I just
you,
thought there should be another option.
Actually-
it would be great if there was like a novice or whatever.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Okay.
They should add a C class for the vet, a vet C, just a vet
Yeah.
plus 25 C
Completely
or
open?
or plus 30, just plus 30 C. And
Yeah.
the reason why is because when you qualify for Loretta's in that C class, you have to go to B.
yeah. Yeah, there you
And then
go.
we get rid of some of these
So you go to these
sandbaggers.
local races, it's not AMA. Who cares?
But I mean, all you have to do is show somebody your results that you.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, next year, plus 45, plus 50. That's what I'm going for. So who's with me?
plus 50.
Yeah.
I gotta
Well,
do-
you could do another
I
class.
got to do 40.
40 and 45. Okay.
I can't,
do
get my, I
45.
can't even get my bike to run right now.
45.
I don't understand. Like, it's been weeks. You took a year to get it fixed, and now you're like,
I would love to have
He
fixed
decided
it.
to go ride in the dust for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
smoked his motor.
I didn't smoke my motor.
I don't know.
Hopefully, I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm
Check
going.
compression.
I'm going. Me and Spencer talked about doing that. We have not yet. But that's just one of those things. I've been knocking things off the list, and they keep just.
Well, we got our first
an
guest
issue.
of the night on, so we'll get back to our Loretta's discussion in a second. But our first guest of the night is going to be brought to you by Guts Racing. Andy Gregg and the Guts Racing crew continue to provide the best seats and foam available. If you want the same seats used by Rockstar, Husqvarna, Hep Suzuki, and many more, then you need Guts Racing. They have numerous color possibilities, staple or Velcro installation options, wing seats, and the best foam in the business with the Phantom Ultralight Seat Foam. Visit gutsracing.com to save today. Make sure you let them know that the MotoXpod show sent you. Tonight, Guts Racing brings us from the NSA Yamaha team, Avery Long. What's up, Avery?
What's going on, guys?
Not much. Glad to talk to you, man. It's been a little bit. How you feeling? Are you back home?
Yeah. Back in Florida right now. Back at the Cairo, and just recovering from the long week of Loretta's.
It is a long week, man. This is my first time going and hanging out, and I was only there 3.5 days. And I was like, I'm ready to go home. Jeez. Yeah, to wear you out.
Yeah, definitely gets long, but as always, I mean, it's an awesome week, and I always have so much fun there. So definitely, enjoyed it a lot.
So how do you feel about your results? Open Pro Sport, second overall, going 7.23. 250 Pro Sport, second overall, going 2.35. I mean, look, Drew Adams was the guy expected to win anyway. Your results, especially coming off of some injuries, I feel like they're really good. But as a racer, I can see you going, nope, they weren't good enough.
Yeah, I mean, as a racer, you always want to win. That's always our goal. And I wasn't pumped to get second place, but to look back at where I was 8 months ago, coming off of a knee injury at Minios after some could say like kind of dominating Minios, and coming out of surgery and stuff like that, and not really even knowing if I'd be ready to race regionals for Loretta's. Looking back on the week, I'm pretty happy with second overall. I thought, my riding was really good all week. Kind of petered out towards the end of the week, but, that's just not, being able to race as much as, some of them kids in the class that I was racing against.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just again, having those kind of results with limited time on the bike and with the heat and the humidity, which again, I know it's hot and humid where you're at, and you're on troll training also, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So what kind of program were they having for you as you built in, like the week before Loretta's? Did they change their program any? Did they kind of back you off and get you, to just a little rest before the races started?
Oh yeah. They kind of backed me off, a little bit, but also, I wasn't doing a full week of, on the bike either. So, obviously things are going to change a little bit, but, they kind of just, towards the end of the week before Loretta's, they just kind of, did some shorter cycling stuff, got the heart rate up a little bit, and, just tried to stay loose going into the week.
Right on.
Hey Avery, I enjoyed watching you and Cole and Drew in battle this whole week. It was cool to see the rivalry between you guys. That I forget which moto it was. I think it was one of the second motos where you and Cole.
Liam, you talking about where him and Liam crashed?
Was it not him and Cole?
Him and Liam.
Oh, okay. When you and your other Yamaha guy,
Liam
Alof, got together, y'all actually didn't touch. Is that the most unique, interesting crash you've ever had?
Interesting crash.
Interesting, yeah.
Okay.
Weirdest, because it was bizarre.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's happened to me before. Just kind of falling into the same rut, and he kind of made a little mistake and kind of stood the bike up in that rut, and I was committed to the line and tried sneaking it through, but just wasn't able to kind of sneak it through, and we both tipped over. It was a bummer, but it was kind of a racing incident. We talked about it and joked about it after. But yeah, it was definitely a little bit of a weird crash, but glad we were both all right.
Yeah, so you've been to Loretta's like 6 or 7 times now?
Yep.
So,
I don't know for sure how many years, but it's quite a few.
Well, the reason why I ask is there was always with certain people talking about the chips that you draw to start the weekend off for your classes, and I was just curious your thoughts on that. As somebody who's got a lot of experience there, do you like it? Do you hate it? Should it go off of qualifying, or what do you think?
I hate it. Yeah.
You say that means you got a bad pick, right?
Yeah, I mean, my first moto, I drew 10, and then the next one I drew 25, and I was about halfway outside of to the left side of the doghouse on that one, and got a great jump, came in, around that top 5-ish, and this kid came from the outside and just totally didn't lift, and hit me from the outside, and both of our bikes rebounded in and shot us off the track, and luckily I didn't go down, but got on the track after the start, which I thought was the safest spot, and I didn't really think I gained an advantage. If anything, I lost 5-10 positions, and rode up to second that moto, but because of that, because of another kid coming around from the outside on the start, I got docked 5 positions that race, so that put me at a 7th. So that kind of took a little bit of wind out of the sails for the week, just from I guess poor choice.
What did they dock you for?
They said I cut the track and gained too many positions, but we looked back at it with the AMA guys, and I mean they'd already made their decision. They didn't even think that I had gotten hit, and we tried going up there and fighting it a little bit. Yamaha was up there talking, fighting for me, but they stuck to their decision and kept it, which was definitely a bummer because if you have a good ride, coming to second in a class like that, I'd say it gives you good confidence, but then find out that you're docked 5 positions, and then that gives you a 7th the first one. That kind of take the wind out of your sail for the week a little bit. So it was just trying to build back from there. But yeah, back to the gate pick. I'm not a fan of it. I think if you go off qualifying, I think that's definitely a lot better way to do it. I think I was talking about it with somebody. We were adding up the math or whatever. It was 2 of every 3 starts or something like that, and first motos end up with a pile up, and then after the first motos, when it all the the elite guys are starting from the same spot, it went down, the percentage went down quite a bit, just because you don't got top guys coming from outside and inside. You don't got guys coming in from all over the gate. You got them coming from one spot.
That's a good point. Yeah,
it just takes away from a risk factor for us elite guys. Not wanting to be stupid and throw our race away right off the start.
Well, with your speed, you're going to have a long time to continuously be mad at the AMA over terrible choices, terrible decisions. So just be prepared for that. That's all.
Yeah. You just got your first miles, man. He's got a long ways to go. But it's interesting that you said that, because I noticed on a lot of the starts that pretty much every start that I saw, somebody went off the track and then hopped into that next corner, like we gained a couple of spots. And I wonder how diligent they were on getting every single person, and not just like, oh, well, this was a pass he went from 5th to 2nd. When people were going from 38 to 32nd all day long,
Probably depended on the classes and who protested.
It's interesting that, how they kind of, I just thought, what your thoughts are on that?
It's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough to say. They docked me, obviously, and then, there's a race right after me. I think it was like a C class or something that, the same thing happened to, and they didn't do nothing about it. So, especially when things like that happen, it really makes it frustrating. But, I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, they're going to do and make the decisions that they want to make,
Absolutely.
Never change AMA.
Yeah. Well, again, I think, look, I mentioned that Drew Adams was kind of the favorite. I don't know how you feel about that. I'm sure for you that's more motivating. You want to go beat the guy that's supposed to be the favorite. But looking at your ride, it's a great ride. 2022, you were 450B limited and 450B champ. You were the amateur rider of the year. Like there's a lot of positives in what you've done at Loretta's over the last few years. What surprises me is that you really don't have a lot of options. It doesn't sound like for next year. I don't think you right now know what you're going to do. And it seems like with your results, you should have some people kind of making some phone calls at least and, showing some interest.
Yeah, for sure. I've been myself. I've made a lot of phone calls since Saturday. Trying to talk to different people and try and get something going into next year. But yeah, it's definitely kind of scary, but I feel like with what I've done over the past few years and kind of making that breakthrough at Mini-O's and I did get hurt, but coming back and with this kind of being one of the first major big races back and putting in not stellar but solid results, I feel like it shows that I'm back, and I'm only going to get better from here. Going into Loretta's, wouldn't say I was, quite back to where I was yet. I felt like I was still a tick off. But yeah, just trying to find a spot going into next year is going to be huge for me. I think in the next couple of weeks, things will kind of open up a little bit more with different teams on what they're doing for next year and stuff like that, and signing contracts for other guys and who's going to have spots available and whatnot. I think a lot of that will kind of play out here in the next few weeks, but yeah, I'm definitely on the market for sure. And, open to, anywhere really.
Yeah. And I think we talked, you're doing the combine at Ironman, right?
Yeah. As of right now, yes. There's been talk about, maybe doing like, Butts Creek or Ironman Pro National.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to do that, but as of right now, it's still kind of just been talk. Like I said, I'd love to do that, but it's still kind of up in there.
Yeah, I said combine, but you're going to do the actual pro race. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've noticed with a lot of the amateur kids who do a lot of winning on mini bikes, and then as they come up, that they don't learn to lose. And I don't mean this in a bad way. I think it's actually an advantage towards you. You've had an up and down career at the amateur national circuit where you've gone from like 20th one year to like a 4th the next and stuff like that. Have you ever put thought into that, how much of an advantage that's going to be, that you have proven to yourself and maybe to other people that you are willing to fight to get to where you want to be?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say I'm pretty, mentally strong in that aspect. I haven't been the guy all the way through my amateur career. So, you know, if I'm not winning, or I get a bad start or something like that, I can come through the pack, and I know how to, you know, come through the pack and work through and pass guys where, you know, if you're just, you know, used to getting every hole shot and leading every race and stuff like that, you know, you go pro and, you know, you're more than likely not gonna, that's not more than likely going to happen. So, it might fluster some guys or, you know, wind them up or force them into making mistakes that they usually wouldn't make just because, you know, they're not out front leading like they're used to doing their whole amateur career. So for me, I'd say that, you know, this last year or so, I kind of become one of the guys. So I know, you know, starting to learn more how to win, but definitely, being that, you know, third, fourth, fifth place guy to me, definitely isn't, you know, out of the ordinary coming through, with my amateur career I had. So,
right.
Yeah.
I'd say it's definitely fine. I think I'll do just fine going to the pro with that. And, you know, it gives me more motivation to build on what I do week after week, once I do go pro.
Yeah. Ryder D talked to us here recently about having to learn to not win, you know? So I see riders like you who have had your struggles, and I think it's actually a positive thing in the long run.
Scotty?
I was just going to say quickly that, you know, this is being you're almost your last year. The Red is probably going to move up to the pros. Was there any point where you kind of like, oh, I want to do this one last time at the Loretta's, you know, whatever, get in the creek or whatever. Well, is there a chance that you had to kind of soak in that, like, hey, I've made it all the way through. I'm an A-class rider, and this is, you know, I made the Loretta's journey.
Oh yeah, just pretty much for me is just spend the time with my family. You know, it's been a family trip that we've done, you know, every year since, you know, we started going, back, I think on 85 is when I first made it. And, so just kind of spending more time with my family, especially not, you know, seeing them, every day during the week, or, you know, since I'm down south and they're back in Minnesota, I don't really get to see them much. So it was just to kind of spend as much time with them and enjoy the time with the family, and, you know, laugh and crack jokes with them guys was probably, the best part of the week, and probably the thing I'll miss most about, you know, the week at Loretta's.
At 10 years, you've gone 10 times. I just looked it up.
That's quite a bit. It definitely doesn't feel like that many times, but I don't doubt it.
It's a big part of your childhood, man. Let's close this thing out. You just Avery Long tonight, brought to you by Guts Racing. You just mentioned Minnesota. Our boy Chris Riesenberg, Checkers, is up that way with Race Tech. They're a big supporter of you, and they're a title sponsor of this podcast. So yeah, just talk about working with Race Tech and Checkers.
Yeah, Checkers is he's awesome.
Is he though?
I worked with Race Tech from 65s to, I think, when I signed with the NSA Yamaha team, 2 years ago. So they were also a big part of my childhood, and you know, bringing me up through the ranks. And yeah, I'm grateful for everything Checkers has done for me over the years. And you know, he's still talk to him at Loretta's, and you know, he still texts me quite often, and you know, just try and keep him in the loop most I can, because, you know, he's contributed to a lot of my success over the years. So yeah, Checkers he's been awesome, and, you know, I can't thank him enough for everything he's done for me.
Yeah, he's good people. King of the air wheelie. We love.
Oh, for sure.
We love Checkers. But yeah, I think again, a lot of positives you can take away from this weekend. You seem to have a very positive outlook on things, a good personality. So I believe, I'm sure you're taking all this positive away and know it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah, just trying to, like you said, take all the positive away, and you know, look at the, you know, the cup half full instead of half empty. You know, there's a lot of things you can go back and dwell on and say what if, but you know, what's done is done. You can't go back and change, you know, the results now. So just to move on and, work on the things that, that do need to be worked on, and just go back to work and get ready for next year.
Get ready for next year. I like it, man. We'll stay in touch. We'll, if something comes up where you know what you're going to do, let us know, man. We'll get you back on. We can talk about it.
Awesome. I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Avery, you have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's NSA's Avery Long. He was on a couple years ago after a successful Loretta Lynn's campaign, and
B class.
He's a good kid.
Last year in B when he won B.
It was 22.
22.
Yeah, last year his results weren't quite as good.
I think he won B 1 year, right?
22. Yeah, he won
22.
450B and limited and regular.
Okay.
Yep. Let's jump into the X-Brand Forum check-in. X-Brand is your choice for clear vision and a leader in motocross and off-road goggles. X-Brand is used by many of the top GNCC riders, including the 2023 XC1 champion Craig DeLong, the 23 National Hare and Hound XC1 champion Dalton Shurey, 23 AMA National Enduro champion Grant Baylor, Lyndon Snodgrass, as well as motocross, supercross, arena cross riders like Kyle Chisholm, Freddie Noren, Henry Miller, Michael Hicks, Richard Taylor, Jerry Robin, and many more. Visit EKSbrand.com or go to your local dealership and ask for X-Brand, distributed through WPS. And don't forget, those championships Hunter Lawrence won on those Alpine Star goggles, they sure look a lot like an X-Brand Lucid. Might even be an X-Brand Lucid.
I feel like I've heard that.
Feel like you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a possibility. It's a big possibility. They are good freaking goggles. That's the point. Go check them out. Get yourself taken care of. Get clear vision. All right, X-Brand Forum check-in this week. The title is, If You Trained for 5 Years Straight.
Oh,
Did you see this video?
no.
Okay. This was posted by, and it switched on me. I love it. Always so
And it's
prepared. Yeah, posted
C minus.
by at Yak651. But a video was posted. I don't know what AJ Catanzaro, I think, does a podcast. And the gist of it was, he said something like, if I could train for 5 years, or he asked Hunter Lawrence, if I could train for 5 years straight, could I be a national champion? And he said, Hunter said, yes. I haven't heard, I'll be honest, I haven't heard the whole podcast, so I may be taking it out of context. But I thought it's an interesting concept. Could
Like a national
level pro rider, like a guy that makes a Supercross main, even if you're 20th every night, or a guy that's in points in pro nationals regularly, if that guy had all the budget where he could just go,
He's got a factory bike too.
I'd say yes.
No,
He's got.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a factory bike. Okay,
Not even. It doesn't even have to be a factory bike. Just like you're getting help. Like
yes,
you
but
you never have to worry about a bike.
the answer is still no.
could a guy that's 15
I
to
know.
20 on a regular basis with 5 years of not having to do anything but train become a champion?
Oh, you're saying a guy that's already getting 15 to 20?
Yes.
Oh, I
Yes.
thought it was like
a
some
guy like
random
AJ
guy.
or a guy like an A-Ray or a guy like Cade Clayson.
Somebody faster than
Could
Doc.
one of those guys, if they didn't have to do anything but train and where everything was taken care of and they had the best equipment, could they go from a 15 to 20 guy to a first to third guy in 5 years? I would say, yeah, maybe like 1%,
Yeah,
but
you'd have a
not
couple.
it's not like across the board.
No, I think you'd get. I mean, I think they would be good enough to get a factory ride. Like I think they could top 5.
You think so? Okay? Let's change the question then, TJ. How much could a guy like that improve if they didn't have to worry about anything and everything, and they were fully taken care of like a factory rider? How much can Cade Clayson improve? How much can what's the other guy?
Well,
Go ahead.
look at what Pike did.
Yeah, but
But he went from a Cade Clayson to a full factory, everything taken care of, and what was his average results?
three to 5.
Yeah.
3 to 5.
That's what I'm saying.
But do you think that's not every guy that's 15 to 20 can do that? Like Wesson Pike was talented.
I think if you did that to Cade or you did that to an A-Ray back in, when A-Ray was at his peak, any of those riders at their peak, I think that they could be consistently with the full factory effort, could consistently be top 10 and in the top 5s and maybe break a podium.
So how much percent pie? Is it talent versus equipment? So we'll go talent, equipment, and the ability to train, et cetera, and have all the.
I think it's hard to say because I think any of those guys that are consistently making night show main events, even some of the night show guys in Supercross, but I think those guys consistently making Supercross main events they are talented. Like, you know what I mean?
Of course they are. Yes.
No, what I mean is like, I think they have the talent that. But I mean, there's so much more than that because there's the mental drive.
Yeah.
There's like Cooper Webb, like will die before he gives up kind of thing, and some of those other guys will be like, I'll take my 11th.
That's what I say. I think
there's so much.
I think there's just a inherent talent factor where some guys just have the talent. Like I'm not going to improve that much, right? Because I don't have the talent. I don't have the balance. I don't have the speed of which when I take things in what reflex or not, that's not really what I'm looking for.
Do you think that if you trained and you put 100% effort in and you were at a training facility and you went through the Futures program, you could make a Supercross night show?
No.
You don't think so?
No, because I don't think I'm talented enough.
Okay.
Curious. I don't think I can improve that much.
I think I could.
I don't think I would ever hit a set. I don't think I would ever skim a set of whoops. Huh?
I think I could. I think I think that
now,
like right now, if I could just full for the rest of the year and like the rest of this year, start training right now, do nothing but training Supercross, and then go through Futures next year, then in 26 I can make a night show.
No, I would put money on that all day.
Absolutely
long.
Could.
I would put money on that all day long.
Absolutely, I could.
So then, if you could, then why doesn't Kiefer go do that? Why doesn't Kiefer and Brown?
Kiefer could.
I know, but now he's saying now. He's saying right now.
He doesn't want to.
Okay, I know, but that's not the point.
But Kiefer can't just do nothing but train.
Yeah, I don't think Kiefer could make a night show right now, and all he does is ride.
That's my point.
Yeah, but if he started riding nothing but Soupy, he could make a night show.
I don't think so.
I don't think it's that hard to make a night show. I'm not saying make a main event. I'm saying
there's a lot of guys that don't make night shows that would probably argue with you.
So you think that if you train for 5 years that you could beat Doc?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean Doc sucks.
Well, he makes night shows.
I'm just joking.
I didn't say that I could. That he. Yeah, I mean, if he did full time, but there's a lot of the drive. Like I think mentally, I know I could do it. It's just why I pull hole shots when I was riding a 125 against 450s because I know I can.
I need to hit the idiot button.
I can do it.
Stop acting like an idiot. You're the idiot.
Don't be an idiot. Changed my life.
Yeah, I think most of it is talent based or just inherent talent that you have to be born with. I think
it's a drive.
I mean, that's a big part of it too. But again, I think the talent, the physical ability.
That boy's got a lot of quit in him.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever be willing to skim across a set of Supercross whoops full speed. I just don't think mentally I'd be able to.
Yeah, but a lot of guys making night shows can't skim across Supercross whoops.
That's a good point.
Okay, you're starting to lean me towards your side a little bit.
Just pull the Phil Nicoletti
just
technique.
One lap. All you gotta do is
duct tape it.
You just got to get in the top 40, one lap.
Yeah,
I could do it.
All right. Also, Zacho, there's been rumors that he might take the final spot or a spot at Club for outdoors. That's a no-go now. He's not doing that.
What was the reason for the no-go? Like, why was he
lack
going?
Lack of prep is what I understand.
So then he never was.
Ready. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't think he's been riding enough. I mean, I haven't talked to him. It's just kind of through the industry, what I've heard.
Why it seems like there should be more talked about. Maybe I've just missed it where they did, and all the stuff with Garrett.
Marchbanks?
Yeah, just getting fired in the middle of the season.
Well, Brandon's about to come on the show, and we're going to ask a little bit.
Okay, good.
I don't know where it's going to go.
So we're going to get hung up on Brandon.
Well, no, we're going to talk to him about. We're going to talk to him about Loretta's for a minute, and then we're going to ask about. That Brandon and what's going on? Is J-Mart coming back? Enzo? Like we see what he. But I don't know.
We will get an answer.
Yeah, I don't know that we will, but that's. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, I interviewed. If you paid any attention to Vital, I've interviewed Garrett.
I know, but nobody seems to. And I don't think that he's wrong. I think they're doing the right thing. But yeah,
well, let's find out. Our next guest of the night is on. He's going to be brought to you tonight by FXR, which is designed by racers for racers with industry-leading fit, finish, and performance. Progression is the name of the game with every new piece created. At FXR, we push our brand to the next level to provide you with the best products possible, used by the Muck-Off FXR Club MX Yamaha team, Mike Brown, Brock Tickle, Chris Kiefer, Benny Bloss, and many more. FXR has core motor roots, so visit fxrracing.com or go to your local dealership to see the complete 25 line. Tonight, FXR brings us the owner of Muck-Off FXR Club MX Yamaha, Brandon Haas. What's up, Brandon?
I'm doing good.
You doing all right? Do you have us on speakerphone? Because there's a little bit of an echo. Or Bluetooth?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, doing good.
Good.
How you feeling, man? You recovered from Loretta's?
I am, yeah. I'm actually surprisingly a little worn out. I don't know if it's just from the long week or the heat, whatever. But, yeah, I recovered and back to the grind at club, catching up from being gone.
Well, let me ask you this. You just said something about the heat. And, I was out there hanging out with Kiefer all weekend, and everybody was talking about the heat and humidity. And to me, it didn't feel that much different than home in East Texas. Do you feel like it was more brutal than where you guys are at? Because it's definitely hot and humid there.
Yeah, I don't think it was normal to us. I think the biggest thing is when you're just camping in a camper, or you just got a moto van, you're just exposed to heat all day. But it didn't bother me. I think the biggest thing with the heat is more so the track itself. You don't quite get going fast enough to get much of a breeze. So it's like when you're riding, you just kind of feel like you're, in the sauna, so to speak, because it's just such a slow going technical track and you're fighting the ruts. I think that just amplifies the actual heat, in my opinion. Just like at club, when you ride the corner track in the summer, corner track can whoop your butt on a hot day. And, so that's kind of what I compare it to.
That's actually a good point, because that's what Chris was saying, and some of our other buddies. It's just you don't really get a breeze because it is a slower track. It's tight. It's down in the hole, so you're not getting a breeze. So that makes sense. I wasn't racing.
Yeah.
I didn't qualify, so I can't really say. I was just walking around all day.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it was sick. I thought the track was super good, and they did a killer job. It was technical. Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Did you feel track conditions were worse, same, just different than years past? Because from the first time I've ever been there, first of all, so I've only watched it on Racer TV in the past, but it did not look as ruddy or as rough as normal.
Yeah, I would say I had some gnarly motos for sure, but I think 2 of my 6 motos were gnarly. Or 2 years ago, I would have said, man, every moto I did except for my first, lucky I get the 730 moto on Tuesday, so that's kind of cool getting the fresh track. But when I watch them do track prep, I pay a lot of attention to what they do with tracks. It's a club, we work with dirt a lot, but they tended to rip it up at night, and then they went back over top of it with either the dozer or the attachment they have on the back of their tractor. So basically they ripped it up and then they kind of relayed it all down. I think it was better in the aspect you could move around more of the track when, the first motos of the day wasn't just a typical mud bog with big clumps. The whole shot was really the only thing truly ripped. But it was still soft, or it still developed deep, gnarly ruts, but it didn't have the bumps, I think, like probably in the years past. But I did notice the track was more racy, I felt like, this year because of that.
Yeah, that's what I thought, just from as a spectator. Well,
yeah, I don't think it's that fun when you get in a rut and you got to stay in the rut for 2 sections. What I mean? Where at least now it was rutted, and then you could jump out of that line and change. So that was cool.
Yeah, this was the first year where I was like, oh, I think I would actually kind of want to ride the track a little bit. Like years past, yeah, this is what you said. It's a slot car, and I suck in ruts anyway. So if you're stuck in ruts for 300 yards, that's not going to be good.
Yeah, and that's my weakness. I'm the worst on tight, rutty tracks. I'm much better on a fast, flowy, especially sand tracks. So yeah, it's different. It's unique. It's a unique beast in its own.
So this year, I commented earlier that I watched a lot of it on, just playing in the shop while I'm working and all that kind of stuff. And it was kind of boring to watch this year. There was a lot of separation between like first and second and third and fourth. There's a huge separation. Do you think that was maybe some of the way the track like raced this year, or the prep just made it where there was a lot more separation and guys weren't on top of each other?
No, that's a really good question. I think, it's hard to say because I was expecting on 30 plus that 2 years ago, it was pretty competitive for me. Like, I definitely didn't just walk away with it by any means. And 25 plus, I was, I don't know, still distant like I am now, but the results are better. But yeah, it did seem like, especially for us, Hayes and Harrison and Martinez, like, them three kind of just left everybody by a big gap. And you did see a couple guys, but the intensity, I think, probably favored that. So guys that have more high intensity, fast twitch movements definitely tended to shine a little more maybe than years past, where it's just always, it was so gnarly 2 years ago that it was hard to even have intensity on that track. It's just so gnarly. So I liked that aspect this year. Even getting to watch Brown kind of throw it down for the laps, like he was really charging. Like, that was cool that the track allowed that to happen. So yeah, it's hard to say whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's something to think about for sure.
Do you think you could beat Brown?
Nobody can beat Brown.
Yeah.
Well, Shorty
did.
Well, at my regional, I beat him, but Loretta Lynn's in.
Yeah, that's his track.
No, Brownie's a badass on every track. Not discrediting him by any means, but Loretta Lynn's in specific, he's good there.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, dude, you beat J-Law, bro. Like,
yeah. Well, you know, that's what's cool about the vet class is that, you know, from other people, but for us racing, it's like, that's what's cool about Loretta. You get to go and race guys. I can only dream of beating that guy one day, because J-Law was, you know, the guy when I was a struggling privateer just trying to go racing. Those dudes are the superstars, right? So now you get to go line up at a later point in your life. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Superstars flipping cars.
If you had told that Brandon, like, hey, don't worry, you'll get him at Loretta's 1 year. You're like, oh, yeah, all right, whatever you say. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would have said you're fucking crazy for sure. You know, it's Jacob Hayes trained that club for a couple of years when he was younger, and you know, it's just really cool at a later point in life to get to ride these guys. You look up to them in so many ways, and we all are such fans of the sport, regardless of our position in it. It's just cool, man.
Yeah. How many more years do you want to do this?
Yeah, I would keep racing. I mean, for me, it gives me a reason to train, eat healthy, and just, you know, try to be a positive influence on the people you're around, and especially the kids training at club and the guys on the race team. It's like, you want to do the right things, and sometimes it's hard to do that if you don't have a goal. So I think for Loretta's, it's cool for me because I can kind of train for a few months and kind of feel like, you know, a kid again, and
yeah,
you know, get on with it. So yeah, I hope I can keep doing it for a long time. It doesn't really matter to me what place I get. I like the challenge, and I also like seeing if I can continue to improve. And with the techniques and the sport changing, you know, in the last 10 years, it's like the things you're preaching and saying and studying, it's cool to be able to work on them as well and see if you can do it, that personal challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's fun.
Yeah, and also it's got to be kind of cool to have a little bit of role reversal, you know, 300 most of the weekends out of the year, 50 weekends out of the year, you're responsible for other riders and making sure for their success, and then you get this whole week where it's, you know, the focus is kind of on you and making sure that you are set up to succeed. So it's got to be kind of cool to experience that too.
Yeah, it was. And Cam, my mechanic for the week, he's Nicoletti's mechanic, and it's cool just feeling like, you know, you own a race team, but you always dreamed of being on a race team. So I got to feel like I had that for the week, and that was cool.
Who's pickier, you or Phil? from his perspective,
definitely Phil. We got 3 outdoor races left, and Phil just spent all week testing shocks again. We just never stopped. Yeah. So no, that was cool too. I'm basically on one of the spec race bikes, right, with my suspension and stuff I like, but that's also really fun, is riding the bike in race conditions and kind of understanding what you've been working on the last year on the chassis and the engine. And I got to work with Jamie at Twisted during the week to kind of tune the mapping a little bit for the track and make adjustments. And it's funny because I don't ever apply that to myself other than when we're testing, and it was cool to kind of see it all, the progression just kind of come naturally, you know, just because it's like another race. So it's kind of cool.
Let's talk about a couple of your riders that were out there. I talked to Ryder Malinowski and Alex Federstoff. Ryder got third in 250B. Alex got fifth in a couple of his classes. I forget what Ryder's other finish was. And then your kid, Lucas Corcoran, got second in his class. So, like, I don't know what your expectations or what their expectations were, but if the kids that I saw from your team seem to be doing really well and have some good results. And also the guys I talked to had really just great attitudes.
Yeah, I think, both Ryder and Alex, they're the B riders training at club, but they're also on the race team. But that was personal best for both of them guys. And, that's a heavily loaded class, B and schoolboy too. It's like, those are the next generation of kids. That's why we're going to Loretta's, is to see these guys. And, for both Ryder and Alex to get on the box and be competitive in that class was good. We knew from their speed at club that they have it. They just lacked the experience.
Right.
They're racing guys that have always been kind of up front. And these are guys that are the hardworking, guys just looking for an opportunity. We've seen that in them at club, and it's cool to try to give them better bikes and help them just take that next step, and they're showing they can. So we'll definitely keep supporting that.
Brandon Haas tonight brought to you by FXR. Speaking of FXR, Ryder Malinowski, which is Milt's stepson, he told me he's only been riding in general like 4 years. So to get a third in the 250B, that's very impressive to me.
It was, and he was a standout in our opinion from the aspect of very mature riding during the week that we really didn't expect out of him. We expected him to go to Loretta's and just send it. Like he's an athlete. He's a hard competitor. He comes from a blood of family. His dad was a snowcross racer. His uncle Rusty, one of the most famous wakeboard guys, and so I expected him just to have some big moments, you could say. And he was just really disciplined and calculated all week. That it was such a pleasant surprise, because we've been working on that since Supercross Futures of last year, getting him to be a more of a technical mindset versus ascend it. And I think he just proved to himself that he can do it, and it's coming together for him.
I like it.
Yeah, Brandon, we talked about giving those guys kind of a chance, and it's kind of an opportune time for you guys to be in the stage of a race team that y'all are. And there's been the recent history has shown us that the up and coming Loretta's guy that wins everything doesn't always translate to the pros. So it's kind of cool. We were talking earlier about with Avery, how the fact that he has struggled is going to help him in the long run, and it's got to be cool to be a part of a team that can support these guys and give them that chance.
Yeah, it is, and I think at the end of the day, that's the team we are in a nutshell, right? We're the late bloomers, we're the underdogs, we're the guys that really shouldn't be competing at a factory level, and so it's easy for us to pull for that guy too. And you see somebody just willing to grind and go all in on the sport, and I think with the younger generation specifically that we're talking about is teaching them to really appreciate and enjoy the suffering mentally and physically, and getting them to that point where they can really mature quickly is a very disciplined technical mindset. And I think just with, there's a lot softer, I guess, personalities, so to speak, these days that it's harder to see those guys. And when you've watched the Osbornes and, all that generation, Phil still racing, like Brayton, and the one thing they all had in common was, they got a lot of grit. They got a lot of determination and appreciating the suffer, you should say. And, trying to teach these guys that mindset's really important. And, we're proud that the guys that do have that mindset and are achieving it are on our race team to represent that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting you just said that, because we were just the grit, right? The little bit different mindset, or almost the different gene maybe it takes with some riders to get to that highest level of success. And we were just, before you came on, we were doing our X-Brand Forum check-in, and it was based off of a statement AJ Catanzaro said on a podcast recently, where he basically, the question is, if a rider like an AJ, or a rider like, we were saying like a 15 to 20 guy, an average 15 to 20 guy making a night show or a main event in Supercross, or getting points in outdoors, if that guy had 5 years with everything taken care of, where all he has to do is ride the best equipment and train, could a guy like that make it to the highest level? And I think maybe like 1 or 2% of them could, but more often than not, the top guys are the top guys because of how they're wired, not so much the equipment, not so much because of having the time to train. It's a little bit of the genes, the talent, and also just how they're wired.
Yeah, well, but you're saying that statement is saying that they can become a top Supercross rider?
I have to take this a little out of context because I didn't watch the whole video, but my understanding is that AJ said in a podcast that he had asked Hunter Lawrence a few years ago, like, about himself. Hey, if I had 5 years on a factory bike and all I had to do was train, could I be a national champion? And he said that Hunter said yes. I like AJ okay. I don't know him that well, but I don't know that I believe that. I don't know that I would agree with that. I don't think a guy like him or even a Cade Clayson, who I'm friends with, has everything it takes to be the best.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I've watched so many scenarios over the years of guys that have, came through club and been successful, and most that have came through and, had to move on in life to come to the realization you can't. I've seen the guys that go all in, and I've seen the guys that haven't. And what do all the top level guys have in common? One, they got just crazy gift in so many different ways, but you can say, natural ability gift, but then you got to break the natural ability into kind of different segments and categorize that in itself. And I think there's just so many unique traits that, I would say 1% for sure. There's so much more to it than just having everything handed to you and train. That is definitely not true. I think you'd be crazy to say that.
I genuinely believe it has more to do with the excuse me, I'm sorry, more to do with the mindset, the gonna win or die, ride that, or like they hate losing worse than they enjoy winning.
But a guy like A-Ray will win or die, but unfortunately he dies most of the time. So,
but there's
yeah.
Well, I mean you got a point there. I think his is just riding over his head. I'm talking about guys that would go out and just, like, I don't know, the mentality, the like the Carmichael style of just go out there and burn fuel. The guys that did that back in the day, well, that mentality is that training doesn't work anymore, but that mentality is still what gets those
mentality is definitely part of it. But I think there's a talent level too.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, but I think you can safely say that most guys racing at professional level, let's say guys that are making careers of it right now. Those guys all have a platform that they have everything handed to them. They're all able to focus 100% on training for the most part. I mean, these guys that live at club, that race full time, like, this is all they do. It's all they know. And that's it. And they do. They walk in, they do their training. They don't have to worry about anything. Is it factory, program motorcycle? No, but still everything's right here for them. So what percentage of them are going to make it, right? Like, they come and go, unfortunately.
What do you think the difference is between the kids or the guys that are pro now or whatever?
I think it's like there's so many things in racing that have to go right for things to start clicking, and to build momentum is the biggest thing. And there's so many setbacks that these guys face along the way. And when you say momentum, it's like, a bad year can be 2 bad years. I mean, a Jet Reynolds is a classic example of what the heck is going on, right? Like, you miss how many years of racing big bikes and you're a phenom. It's like, is it talent? Oh, the kid's definitely got talent, but things just happen. And it's like, if you could link the same reason for everything happening, it'd be easy to fix it. But there's so many variables. And even racing the 250 class, like, I think a lot of it gets, hidden, so to speak. But these guys get hurt just from bike failures that they can't control, because these things are just to the absolute limit, and everybody's pushing them to the absolute limit.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what I mean. Like, to say that who's got the better odds, it's like everything has to come together. But the one thing they all have in common is the rider really has to buy into what it is. Everybody buys in at a different way. So somebody needs to buy in. Maybe it's on their suspension, right? Like, that could be in their head. It bugged them on the last team. Is it actually they have better suspension, or they just bought into the people or the process? And same thing with engines. Am I on the fastest bike? Can I get this whole shot? Every rider is going to buy in at a different level and a different category for a different reason. That's what's really difficult. But
Sure.
all the guys at the top, they do buy in when they get going, and they have this determination of finding the positive in the pain of the sport, because there's so much time. You're just at the absolute limit, suffering and hurting and racing weekend after weekend. You have to find gratitude in that. You don't even have a second to feel sorry for yourself, because if you do, it's over.
Yeah, 100%. Brad,
you're sick, you're whatever. Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's move on to some Club MX business. There's some stuff I want to get into, and I kind of mentioned it to you at the ranch. But with the team, you got to start looking ahead to 25. The outdoor season's almost over. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of changes have been happening. Recently Marchbanks was let go or released. I don't know what term you want to use. We haven't really heard anything. We don't know what's going on. At least I don't know exactly what's going on with like Jeremy Martin and Enzo Lopes. Cody Schock's got a 3-year deal. Not real sure. Phil's leaving. Don't know if Jet's coming back. So kind of update us. I kind of want to start with Marchbanks because that's a relatively new thing. He came on my podcast. We did an interview, and I just kind of want to get your side of the story. What happened? What was the decision behind it? How'd that all go down?
Well, Garrett, we had a really good run, right? He was here for nearly 4 years. He had trained here in the past, so I had known him and his family. Looking back at it, I wish it didn't have to end early. I would have loved to see him, race through SMX and put our bike, what I thought could have been potentially on the box again, right? We got on the podium last year in the 450 class and outdoors, and I thought there's no reason we can't do it again. We've improved the bike and personnel and operations, and we made a lot of improvements. And we had a good Supercross year this year, multiple podiums, like everything's good. But just, I guess at some point when, Garrett, everybody knows, signed with PC, right? And then when we kind of disclosed that well before anybody else knew, and we had internal meetings, and Garrett decided to do this. Me and Garrett had private conversations about it, and I accepted it. It definitely hurt, and I wish I, could have done a better job to make sure that I guess, decision doesn't even have to be questioned. Like, at the end of the day, that's your product. So I had to accept it and realize it. And we had a team meeting with Garrett and all the staff, and look, we get it, but it's now our job to make sure you regret that decision when you leave. We want to have a good summer. You stand to make a lot of money, and all was good. Went to Paula, and he had that press day crash over that jump where it was blind with no flaggers, and got super banged up. And whatever happened during that time off, kind of, I don't know, we just never reconnected with the team, with the staff, with the motorcycle, with just everything racing related. We felt like we kind of lost him. And once it started to become a burden on the personnel and everybody involved, unfortunately, I just had to try to make some changes and, limit the potential damage that either Garrett or us face. And, we just weren't pulling the rope in the same direction anymore. And that's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, if it wasn't for Garrett Marchbanks, we wouldn't have the platform we have now with our race program. We wouldn't be helping the people we help now. We wouldn't have the sponsorship funding we have. He's given us a platform, and I think in return, right, he got to go to a factory motorcycle and make good money. And, at the end of the day, it sucks it got cut short, but it was a very good relationship.
Okay.
That's a very open and honest response, and I wasn't expecting that. Just be honest. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't work for a corporate company, so to speak. Like, hey, I'm just like you guys. I love this shit. I love this sport. I don't have to do this. I want to run a race team. I'm not doing it to make a living or make a paycheck at all. I love this shit. So just about giving guys opportunities, and that's both riders and staffing, right? Like, I appreciate the fact that these guys get to go to the races every weekend, whether they're racing or wrenching or whatever. Like, it's a badass sport, and that's why I love doing it.
Any updates on the other two guys? That J Mart still has a year on his contract left. Is that right? Do we know anything? I know he's been hurt. Him and Enzo have both been really quiet. I can't get either one of them to respond. So,
well, Enzo, I don't know.
Okay,
much about that. That was last year's deal, and
I didn't know if you guys were going to renew anything, or I hadn't really heard any updates. So yeah,
definitely not with Enzo.
Okay.
yeah, no, I have no idea what's going on with his race program, but yeah, Jeremy had a concussion again that followed his Detroit one, and
Yep.
the doctor advised him he needed a long break from the bike, and I think he's just ultimately got to kind of weigh his decisions, and Jeremy will decide what his future holds. I think that's something he needs time to do before I speak.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And yeah, I mean, it's super unfortunate, right? Jeremy's a badass, and it's just that Detroit one was another big hit for him, and then he kind of regrouped and was super excited about motocross. And we had a meeting the day before where he's like, I am all in. I'm going to grind. I'm going back to the old J Mart, and he did. He's out there doing 45-minute motos, and he just had a stupid little high side, and he hit a little edge, and it swatted him, and he did the way he kind of landed, hit his head again, and he was knocked out. And
Jeez.
it was just a hard pill to swallow for him and everybody, right? Like, nobody wants to see that. It was a heartbreaking week, and yeah, so hopefully all is good, moving forward. But that's kind of where it stands now. We do have 2 guys signed. Everybody knows Shock's signed.
Yep.
Another guy we're going to be announcing soon that we're super pumped on. Can't wait for that to happen. And yeah, we're kind of in the midst of a lot of contracts right now, and kind of going through our, I guess, proper channels to see who's the best fit. There's a couple good guys that we are after that we like personality wise. Yeah, and we want guys that want to be here. Like the program we're building is a little bit different, and I think with time people will start to see that. So we want guys that want to be here as much as we want them.
So unfortunately, Darkside not making Loretta as he lost his opportunity for a contract.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, he's also saw me ride at his place last year.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, blew up my ankle. So yeah, I haven't made a very good showing.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get a redemption trip,
dude. Yeah, I was talking to a couple of mechanics, and yeah, I would love to come back and make up for the how last year went. We'll have to make a trip at some point for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe you can beat the 65s this year.
No, probably not. No, their riders rip, man.
Dude, yeah, I bet.
What about Mark Finnis and Jet Reynolds? Are they kind of right now nothing with those guys, or?
No contracts,
yeah.
But yeah, we definitely plan to stick with Jet and Mark. We'd love to have all this stuff done by now, but look, we're just such a little staffed race team, and Loretta's was a whole setback for a week and a half, and that's actually your time to get a lot of these deals done, right? We got to break in the series, and so I've been just on total catch up the last couple of days with calls, and we're not super familiar with dealing with agents and playing this whole game with the political side of the sport, so that makes it a little more challenging for us as we learn the ropes and kind of how to navigate the waters. But yeah, it's I think in the next week or two we're gonna have a lot done, and we can't wait to tell everybody.
All right, got one more question for you.
No, when you talk to Mark, just give him a hard time that
Finnis,
that his older brother has a Loretta's championship and he doesn't.
You always bring that up.
I always bring that up because I know his brother pretty well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Now Luke and Mark trained here when they were younger, so it was cool seeing all that.
Yeah, just tell him, say, hey, like Mark, I would give you more money, but you couldn't even do as good as your brother did in the amateurs. So.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, Brandon. Well, hey, appreciate your time tonight. Congrats on that championship, and good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right, you have a good night. Thanks, Brandon.
Bye.
All right, bye. That was Brandon Haas from Muck-Off FXR Club MX Yamaha. We'll get Parker Ross here on here in just a few minutes. Barnett clutches with 75 years of experience behind them. Barnett Dirt Digger clutch kits feature friction materials exclusive to Barnett for maximum performance and durability. Get 10% off with promo code VITALMX, all caps, at barnettclutches.com and feel the Barnett difference. Guys, you guys are going to burn clutches up. If you're riding, you're going to go through clutches. Might as well get yourself a Barnett clutch. It's best in the business, and use that 10% discount to save a little bit of money.
Hey, I would like to find out if they were the longest running aftermarket performance clutch company, because I remember way back in the day, way before Henson. Maybe I'm wrong, but just remembering being at a dealership and you would buy the Barnett Dirt Diggers because they were the best.
Okay, well we could definitely do some research.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But anyways, sorry.
Barnett clutches clutch performance of the week. I'll give mine because I'm going to guess you neither one of you have one thought up yet.
I got one.
I do.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
Look at us.
Look at you growing up.
Who'd have thought?
Go ahead, Scotty.
Andrew Short.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, that was. I almost stopped. Like I was kind of doing stuff at the working and stuff, and I kind of tuned out of that race because that was one of the ones I was watching was to see the Short and the Brown battle was kind of one of the most hyped battles of coming into Loretta's, and I was kind of surprised at how much Brown was beating Short by, and then when he came up and caught him, I was like, that was.
Yeah, he was definitely putting some time in at the end.
Yeah, because Brown kind of gave him the first moto, and then Brown won the second.
He fell, I think.
Yeah.
Brownie fell, yeah.
So I thought, I didn't think Shorty was going to get it, and he did. Yeah, that was
I don't
crazy.
think Shorty did either to begin with.
Yeah, he was.
In the interview I did with him on Vital, it's up on our YouTube and on the homepage, he said, I overestimated how fast Brownie was here. So, yeah.
He underestimated?
Yeah, he didn't think he knew he was fast, but he's like, he didn't think he was going to be that fast.
You said overestimated.
Did I say over?
Yeah, but if I
you're right. Yeah, maybe I did, but I used the wrong term. Okay. Sorry.
My clutch performance was a catfish coolie at the Redneck Brawl. Lasted all 3 rounds. Just the clutch performance.
Well, I've seen him.
Is that JT's nickname? Catfish Coolie?
No,
he's a
comedian.
I've seen him on Instagram and stuff that guy. Yeah,
he's hilarious.
Jesus,
okay.
wild.
Yeah.
Mine's gonna be Lachlan Turner, Lala, from the WMX class and the girl. She won the girls class, but in the WMX class, I think the first. Why are we laughing?
Just because you're just such a weirdo.
Why?
Because it's gonna be a chick. He's gonna pick. He's gonna.
Dude, she's a young kid.
I don't care. It's just funny.
She was one of the fastest girls on the track. But
it's just funny. I'm just saying, it's weird.
Okay. I mean, she's a motocross rider, and she put in a hell of a ride.
Great.
The WMX class.
She caught Sophie and almost passed her in the first moto, and then tipped over, and then she crashed in the third moto too. I think she could have probably. Yeah. She could have.
She's the youngest out of all those too. Yeah.
So I was very impressed with her ride. She went 3.33 for 4th overall, but I just felt like the way she was coming from some bad starts and whatnot was clutch. I don't know why that's funny. I don't know why TJ said
so I've been guilty in the past of being it's just the women's race, and then
dude.
I know. Hold on. Can I finish?
Sure, man.
Yeah.
We do have our next guest on the night. But go ahead and finish your thought, though.
Go ahead, so important.
Yep.
So I've always been it's like a 65 race. Let's let it kind of go. And then you. It's about right. But then you
wait till Mikayla comes on a little bit. We tell her that, and we'll get.
But
Sophie
then after the past couple of years, I've gotten to where it's one of the ones I like to watch because the racing's so good in it.
Yeah, and they rip.
Yeah,
and
they do.
Make you look like an idiot.
I never.
You just said it's like watching the 65s.
Why is he like that?
Dude,
why do you hate women?
I was saying I had to.
We got to get to our next guest.
I had to get out of a bad habit and realize that it was good racing. I was trying.
What a loser!
God,
we'll get back to this.
So judgmental.
By the way, Barnett clutches started in 1948. Henson clutches started in 1990. So I think.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, ProX is bringing us our next guest of the night. ProX is rooted in racing from motocross to off-road and supporting teams such as Ampro Yamaha, Pro Circuit Kawasaki, and SLR Honda. They have been supplying quality components for almost 50 years, from complex jobs like an engine rebuild to simple maintenance including filters, chains, and sprockets. ProX aims to bridge the gap between OE quality and affordability, so find ProX at your local dealer or visit prox-usa.com and search for parts for your bike. Tonight, ProX brings us from the SLR Honda team, Parker Ross. What's up, Parker?
How's it going?
It's going good, man. How about you? You make it home? You recovered? Are you ready to go do some riding today, or what?
Yeah, we got back Sunday and then took Monday off, kind of chilled, and then back to it Tuesday today.
Wow.
I actually was joking. I figured you would take like the whole week off. Let's take a week to recover. Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't even ride because I did not qualify, and I would need to take the week off just from hanging out.
Yeah, well, I'm doing Unadilla, so it's kind of like
there you go.
Gotta get a couple days in, and then we fly out Thursday to Unadilla, so it's kind of like back-to-back racing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually looked for you a few times, and that's one thing I learned about Loretta's guys is if you go to Supercross or the Nationals, like doing an interview is not that hard. You just go to the team truck, you can usually get the guys. At Loretta's, you go to the team truck, and they're like, yeah, he's in a motorhome. It could be anywhere, basically. And
anywhere on the ranch.
Yeah. I found Parker's family, never found Parker. I did want to get you for an interview this weekend, but we got you on the show. So, looking at your results, Open Pro Sport, 6th overall, 250 Pro, 5th overall. I think, I don't know what your expectations were going in, but watching you ride, I feel like the way you rode was not reflected in your results. I think you rode better than your results. Well, no, I think he would more expect a podium than a 6th is what my point is.
Yeah.
And I think the way he rode, he was podium worthy. It's a stack class. He got a couple bad starts. Things happen. I mean, I don't know. Give us your point of view, Parker. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I honestly feel the same way. Like my results and how I feel about how I rode are completely different. Like the 5th and the 6th, I'm not stoked on, but
yeah.
To be up there with those guys, I mean, is awesome. The first, I kind of blew it my first couple motos with the 12 and a 7.
Oh, are you there?
Oh, hello?
There we are. Yeah, I heard you say a 12 and a 7, then we lost you.
Sorry.
You're
Sorry.
good.
Let me... Yep. Hold on. Sorry.
All good. But anyway,
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The 12 and the 7, and then, just I fell first lap in both of those, so it just kind of screwed my whole, like, overall week, but the kind of pulled my head out of my butt, and then just kind of, just kind of went to it after that, and was battling up front pretty much every moto. So the showing at the end of the week was really good, I think.
Yeah. So what were your expectations coming in? I don't know, how your season has gone so far. I don't know if you've had any injuries or if you've been healthy all season. Where did you expect to be coming into Loretta's?
I was expecting to be a podium guy and battling for wins, which I think was kind of my goal and then the whole team's goal. And I think at the end of the week, we kind of achieved that in a way.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you have those first 2 bad motos, does that like take some pressure off where you can just focus on the moto and finishing each one at a time instead of trying to worry about like counting every point to get a championship?
For me, I kind of feel like it put a little bit more pressure on me to like kind of show up and like
Gotcha.
actually ride, instead of like, I wasn't really too worried about an overall going there. I knew if I rode good that I'd have an overall. So I was more just worried about if I was going to be able to ride good. After those first 2 motos, I was a little bit in my head, that's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so I noticed that you were, in both classes, you were the highest finished Honda racer. What kind of support were you given, and like, did you get any kudos for being like, hey, thanks for putting Honda up there?
Yeah, I think the whole SLR team was super appreciative of having me out there, and everybody on the team is just super supportive. So if you're winning or if you're in top 10, I think they'd be stoked either way. So I think they were super supportive, that's for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, last year you went 2nd in Open Pro Sport and 3rd in 250 Pro, just for everybody listening. Yeah, those results, I'm sitting here looking at like the 2-3, again, with that class, I think, were you leading Moto 2 of Open Pro Sport when, I feel like, when Avery and Liam Alof went down, you were 3rd, right? And then Drew Adams passed you.
Yeah, it was like, Drew passed me that lap.
Yeah.
I got stuck behind a lapper and Drew passed me that lap, and then they crashed. So it was like, I kind of got screwed out of leading, but then I was kind of hunting for Drew right at the end there.
So a minute ago, you talked about those first motos in each class and it kind of getting in your head a little bit. I almost feel like that's a good thing, because nothing's, once you go pro, and there's always going to be these different adversities. So having a bad moto, you got to learn, like, okay, that was in my head. Now you need to learn from that. So the next time you can somehow put that behind you and not let it get in your head. Like, that's a lesson to be learned at these amateur nationals before you go pro.
Yeah, for sure. And my trainer, Tom Danielson, was just telling me this whole time, he was just like, let's just get through the first couple laps, and then your fitness and your speed will show. And everybody was super supportive. I was the only one that was like, man, I need to do something. And everybody else was like, you're riding awesome, your speed, you're coming through the pack, you're making smart passes. Like, it's just the first lap, and then I was the only one kind of giving myself a hard time. So, I think it was good to kind of break through that little bit of adversity, and definitely made me grow as a rider through that whole week.
You mentioned your trainer, and like who are you training with, and where are you? You're out on the West Coast all the time, right? That's where you stay.
Yeah, so I live in Southern California right now, and then my trainer is Tom Danielson. He's ex Tour de France racer and did a bunch of cycling stuff. So he's like super good on the fitness side, and then that's pretty much like he writes programs for us. And then me and Jackson, my teammate, we pretty much just battle it out all day, and that's the program. So
let me ask you this: West Coast tracks, nothing like Loretta's. So how do you make that translate? Because a lot of, like, for a guy like myself who doesn't ride as much and isn't as talented, it's a very difficult transition. Chris Kiefer's buddy, Dave Martinez, he came from the West Coast and out here, made his first Loretta's ever, and got here and was like, wow, the dirt's so different. It's so tacky. I don't know what to do with it. So how do you, if you train on the West Coast all the time, how do you kind of get good out here so quickly? How do you adapt so quickly?
Yeah, I think the West Coast tracks are definitely like not as good as the East Coast tracks, but I think the West Coast tracks like kind of make you hone in your skills a little bit more, just with how hard the tracks are to go fast on and how slippery and everything is.
Sure.
I feel like you really have to be in tune with your bike. And then I also got to go out to Game Moto in Oklahoma for 2 weeks before, which I did that last year as well. So I left that part out. I forgot. But
that's fine.
Yeah, that was nice to go out there and just kind of get used to the dirt and everything. And I don't know if it's necessarily getting used to the dirt, or I think it's the bike setup is the biggest part. Going East Coast, like coming West Coast, you like to run a little bit softer and faster suspension, where you go East Coast and you want it slow and stiff, just with how much slower you're going on the track miles per hour wise.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and not only transitioning the riding style, but also the fitness side of things. This was heard being said that it was one of the hottest Lorettas in a while. Did you feel prepared for the heat that you experienced, or was there no way to prepare for what you guys had to go through in those late motos? Because y'all had, I think y'all were one day, y'all were like 6:30, and it looked brutal.
Yeah, we had a 5:30 moto.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was hot. But and then it was pretty much all our motos were like 3:30, and then I think we had one like 11:30 moto, which was a little bit nicer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's hard to really prepare for that. I mean, it's just like, I think it's just more mental than really preparing for it, and just going out there and just giving it your 100% and have that mental toughness to like push through the heat is the biggest thing, I think, at least.
Parker Ross tonight, brought to you by ProX. What's next for you? Do you have? Are you going? You're going to do Unadilla? I think I heard that. Is that right? You're racing Unadilla? Yeah, you just said that.
Yeah,
you just said that. Jeez, that's where I got. What is your plans the rest of the season? Are you going to try to do the rest of the nationals? Are you going pro going in 25? Do you know what your the next few months and next year look like?
So I know the next few months we're gonna do the last 3 nationals with the team.
Okay.
And then we're gonna do the All-Stars race in Las Vegas.
Yep.
And then just kind of after that, I think we're still figuring out the team. We're trying to do some pro stuff next year, but it's still kind of some stuff still needs to fall in place. But I'm thinking pro next year is kind of the plan. But as motocross racers, we kind of just live on the edge and go week by week almost. So we'll see.
Are you wanting to do Soupy?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I've already done 2 years of SX Futures, so I feel really good on Supercross. I've had some people tell me that I have really good skills on Supercross, and I've gotten some podiums in the Futures class, and those guys are pretty impressive as well. So
Absolutely.
I think I would love to go East Coast Supercross, or West Coast Supercross, sorry.
Okay.
I'd like to do West Coast
A1.
Supercross, and yeah, I think I'd be ready for it, but we'll have to see. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I asked a lot of the kids that I interviewed throughout the week what your thoughts are on Loretta's results. How important do you find them, talking to your team, talking to your family? Then the reason I ask this is a lot of kids, they go out and they dominate Loretta's for years. And then sometimes you go to the pros and it doesn't really translate. Maybe they don't win championships. Maybe they're, mediocre, let's say. And then another guy, like I use Ryan Villapoto as an example. He only won one title in his entire Loretta's career, but then he won 10 pro championships. His nemesis, Mike Alessi, won something like 10 amateur titles and never won a national or,
11. Yeah.
Was it 11?
11,
okay.
yeah.
So how much importance do you, your family, and your team put on the results versus overcoming adversity, like your first couple bad motos, and just showing that you have the drive to compete?
Yeah, I think I kind of feel like Loretta's is almost like it's not like, I feel like it's not realistic as a pro. Like you sit around all day for 3 o'clock moto and it's a 25-minute sprint. Yeah. Where in pros you have at least 2 times on the track before you race it, and then you have a 25 or a 30 plus 2, which is like 35 minutes. So you're 10 extra minutes, and I think it's more of I think there goes more into technique and strategy into those motos, where I feel like the amateurs is just like start, sprint, you get a gap, and then you pretty much just manage it from there, where I think in the pros you kind of have a little bit more of a gap, and able to like make mistakes and recover and have some diversity in the moto and come through that, instead of just like, oh, you had a problem, like you're done, like that's it. There's no coming back from it.
Yeah, I think that's more important. Like you said, recovering from a 12th first moto to get a 3.4 and a 7th first moto to go 2.3. I think can be looked at as more important if a team manager is really looking at how you're riding versus, all right, he won a championship, but really he didn't overcome anything. Like we don't really know how he's going to handle things if things go bad. I talked to Daniel Blair about that last year. I was like, what do you find more important? And he kind of said, yeah, I would rather see a kid overcome adversity, fight through a bad moto, and show me heart versus just winning, because that's what you're going to need when you go pro. It's not going to be that easy, right? You're going to have to fight through when you go pro.
Yeah. It's pretty rare. I mean, there's been some instances where rookies go out and just dominate, but sure. It's kind of where the rookie comes out, and I feel like it's hard when you come from amateurs and you're just winning, and then you go to pros and you're like, why aren't I winning? Like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
But like, all the guys you're racing are winners, so it's I think it's just different.
100%. Scotty?
Parker, let me ask you this first. Were you in any part of like the on-track schools? I know they talk a lot about that. Were you on any program like that?
So I never did on track. I've heard it's good, but I did. So I went through public school all the way till sophomore year.
Oh, wow.
And then, so junior and senior year of high school, I did like a little private school, which was online.
Oh, okay.
So then I was able to really train and kind of do that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was gonna see if you were one of those kids, because they had a cool like ceremony thing for them, and I was just gonna find out like off of the track, this is probably your last Loretta's, and asked Avery this as well. Like, what are you gonna miss about Loretta's, and what were the last little things you got to soak in?
The most part I'm going to miss about Loretta's, and I think it's like any amateur race, is like they're long, so it's almost like I've never really had very many vacations growing up, so like almost like going racing is like a vacation for me and my family, to like go to Texas for a week or go to Tennessee for a week, and just like it's like a vacation with all my friends that like do the same thing and do the same sport, and like we all have the same passion. So I think I'm going to miss that part a little bit, where it's like the pros, it's like you go there one day, you're out the next day, kind of, where it's a little bit more of like more of a hangout, I feel like, at the amateur races.
Because you were probably there Friday to Sunday.
Shit, some of those guys get there a week early, almost, to get a good spot.
Yeah. I got there we got there Saturday and left Sunday. Yeah, so a little over a week. Yeah.
Well, Parker, congrats on. I still feel like I think your results were fantastic, considering again just the first motos and the field was really stacked this year. So I think you should be really happy with yourself, really proud of yourself, and looking forward to seeing what you got at Unadilla this week. We'll be definitely keeping an eye on it. What is your goal for Unadilla? Like, is it top 20? Is it just qualify? Like, what are you hoping to do? Minimum.
Results wise,
yeah,
I'm trying to be top 15. I
Okay.
think it's going to be tough, but kind of mentally and just riding wise, I just want to like go out there, have fun, like soak it all in, and just like try and ride at least like good. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
have like a solid riding, not go out there and just make a bunch of mistakes and overthink everything. I'm going to try and just really like ride good, be smooth, and have some fun with it being my first couple ones.
Awesome. Well, good luck this weekend. We'll be keeping an eye on it, and thanks for your time tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, buddy. Take care.
Bye.
All right. That's SLR Honda's Parker Ross.
I didn't think about it because I haven't been playing fantasy this year,
Yeah.
but like fantasy is going to be a mess this weekend with the guys of the next 2 rounds.
Yeah. Remind me at the end of this to talk about Drew Adams.
Okay.
Let's do the T-Bolt USA top 5, and then we'll get Mikayla Nielsen on. If you are a pit bike enthusiast like TJ and love shredding around on a CRF 110, KLX 110, or whatever you have, why are you laughing, man?
Because
he's
just do your
Look,
job.
You don't tell me what to do.
Wow.
Whatever you
Why is
like.
he so
TBoltUSA.com should be bookmarked on your web. Would you stop talking?
Yes.
Should be bookmarked on your web browser. T-Bolt USA is a pit bike supply site that has everything you need for your pit bike, from BBR handlebars to D&M shocks and even full bikes for YCF and Pitster Pro bikes. T-Bolt USA has it.
Well, if he wouldn't have interrupted you, then it would have been a great read.
They even have stuff for the Chinese bikes that are so difficult to find.
Oh, I love T-Bolt.
You'll find pit bikes, engines, and parts at TBoltUSA.com. Tonight's T-Bolt USA top 5 is top 5 movie quotes. TJ, I need you to come up with the top 5 for next week while we start this off.
I did the last one.
Scotty, I need you to come up with the T-Bolt top 5.
I did the one before that.
Well, you're doing this one.
All right.
Let's do top 5 list.
Hey, that's kind of a good
All right,
one.
top 5.
No, I got mine.
no.
I got
Well,
mine.
then come up with something better.
right.
I'm going to read some of our listeners' top
Heck
5s
yeah.
before we get to our own.
I like the listener
I was going to
ones.
give you
They're
the
way
one for
better
next
than
week, but
Well, just wait a minute.
Write it down.
Make them
Gosh, you're not
make them
important.
wait.
you always do it before you do the.
Oh my God, we're never going to get to this done. Why does he talk so much
don't
when
know.
we're up
Oh my
against the
God.
clock? Shane Bagley says, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. Are we not doing the guess what movie it's from?
Oh, I was trying. Say it again.
Oh, say it again.
We don't have time to
Okay,
repeat
well, then
them
go
twice.
move on. I don't get it. What
Ferris
is it?
Bueller's Day Off.
Okay.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Oh, I know that, but I don't know that.
I don't know it.
Elf.
I don't know it.
Oh, that's from Elf.
It ain't got no gas.
Oh,
Gas
that's
in it.
Sling Blade. You know you can't stream that movie anywhere, and if you want, and you can't buy it new anywhere either. If
Okay.
you want to get it, you have to find an old
right.
used DVD.
He doesn't care, TJ.
Yeah, we got 8 minutes and we all have to do ours
Come
before
on, hurry up.
Mikayla.
Jeez Louise.
Are you not entertained?
No, that's a good one. That's a good one. Gladiator.
There you go. You're killing me, Smalls.
Oh, Sandlot.
I
Come
got
on.
that one.
You put that one on there?
I gotta take it off now.
No, you don't.
Sandlot.
Alrighty.
My wife said
Vince
that all the
Pale.
time.
Cut me, Mick.
I don't know.
From Rocky. Saw it in the theater.
Oh yeah.
Cut me, Mick. For luck. These are really short, Vince. Nobody's going to get these.
I don't know.
It's Princess Leia when she kissed Luke right before the swing across the escape.
Oh, it's like,
In the
is yours
first one.
all Star Wars quotes?
These aren't even mine.
I
dummy.
know, but I'm saying
Nope.
when we get to yours.
Badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
What is that from? Is that
The treasure of Sierra Madre, 1927.
You don't need no stinking
Is
badges.
that I think Cheech and Chong did that. Is
Practice?
Yeah.
I was thinking of LeBron.
I think there's something else. We don't need no stinking, but it's not badges or something else.
Practice? Are we talking about practice?
No,
I am invincible.
Jeez,
I don't know, man. Vince's movies are. I've never even seen half of these.
Is that not
Boris
5?
Grishenko, right before the cylinders explode and he gets frozen. GoldenEye. Okay.
No, I've never
I thought the
seen
movie was Boris Grishenko when I saw that. 220, 221, whatever it takes. Michael Keaton, Mr. Mom. Come on, Vince. We got to do better than
I've
that.
never seen a James Bond movie.
Seen a couple of them.
Name is Bond.
All right, Garrett Rockley.
Never seen one.
I forgot one of my movie quotes. Honorable mention goes to Slice and Dice or Pizza Dude's got 20 seconds. Oh, that's Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
All right. Why is he?
I remember that.
First, they're doing a fantastic job. This is awesome. Okay, fine. Garrett, you got to be more precise, man. There's too many words in this thing. Negative Ghost Rider. The pattern is full.
Oh, I don't know.
Seriously, neither one of you?
No, I mean, I've heard Negative Ghost Rider.
Top
but I don't know
Gun.
it's from- is it from Top Gun?
Well, bye. Tombstone. Now give me some fighting
Tombstone
room.
should be, I'll be your Huckleberry.
I say that. Dang it. Shut up.
Now give me some fighting room. The Great Race 2.
Okay.
Use the Force, Luke.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Oh.
New Hope. Never go full.
You never go full retard.
Retard.
That's a good one. That's a good one. You never go forward, done.
Yeah.
All right,
I like
that's
that.
our listeners.
Garrett's
We've got
a
we
hero.
still got 5 minutes. So
Forrest Gump. This man's a national treasure.
I'm gonna do
Never
mine.
touted.
I'm gonna do mine. I'm gonna get the first one out of the way.
Come on.
Yeah.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Oh yeah, we should have known that.
Star Trek.
Yes. Star Trek
Spaceballs.
Episode 6. Return of the Spock. Say what again?
Oh,
Say what again, motherfucker?
Yeah, I
Pulp
was.
Fiction.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a clip from that scene that I would
Say
pull.
one more time.
Yeah, is my
What we've got here is a failure
Oh.
to communicate.
Cool Hand Luke. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow.
Office Space.
TVS
Lumberg.
reports.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one you guys will never get. Hey, that thing got nitrous? Nitrous is for fags.
Maybe
Is
one of
that
those.
Fast and the Furious?
One of those Fast and Furious.
Hit and
movies.
run with my boy Dak
Oh
Shepard.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
All right, those are my 5.
All right. Right there.
Scotty, knock yours out. We got 4 minutes.
Okay. You know what I think? You should come back to Greenbow, Alabama.
Forrest Gump.
That's gonna be a good one.
This might be our best top 5 ever.
I told you it was good.
Can we just do it again? Like we'll do like 6 through 10 favorite
Yeah.
movie quotes.
Well, see, there's your problem. It's not about you. It's about the consumer.
Oh, I don't know.
That sounds familiar, but I don't.
Yeah.
Never
Joe Dirt when he's talking to the fireworks.
I've only seen it
that's
once.
true.
Fireworks guy.
All right.
Lord, make me fast and accurate.
Don't know that one either.
The Patriot.
Yeah,
never
I
seen
don't
it.
think I've ever seen that one.
Oh, what? Okay, that's a classic one.
All right.
I guess you kind of already said it, so I'll do the you're a daisy if you do.
Oh yeah.
Tombstone.
Oh,
because I was
again,
gonna
I've
do.
only seen it.
I was gonna.
I'm not
was
a
big into that.
You're not.
Western
You're
artist.
not good. You're not into like the best movies ever made.
I'm not into westerns.
Obviously, I named my son Doc.
I didn't realize that was where it's from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we do. Maybe we don't. Maybe go fuck yourself.
Wow, we just got demonetized.
What was it? What are we getting monetized for? What movie?
Yeah. It was Marky Mark in The Departed. Mark Wahlberg in The Departed.
Never seen it.
Oh God, dude, Jesus Christ. Okay.
I've seen it once.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that yours?
Did I do? Yeah, I think I did 5.
Okay.
Okay.
I like money.
I'm trying to think.
Really?
Can I? Hold on.
It's your favorite actor.
Stacks?
Yeah.
Oh, is that from?
From Idiocracy.
I like
I like
well, you had
money.
to say it right. I like money.
I like money. Yeah. Your mom goes to college.
What is that even from?
That's from the Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, no, the best line in that is shocks, pegs,
Yeah.
Smokey.
See, yeah.
Or what's the other one where he goes, man, there's like a
see.
bunch of gangs that like want, what there's a line where he's like in the
There's a bunch of games. I have bow staff skills or something like that.
Yeah.
I've got the You're Killing Me Smalls.
Yeah.
Where he's talking about feeding the llama or whatever. It's is it enchilada or
Oh no, she's like,
chimichanga?
oh yeah, go make yourself some quesadillas.
Is that what it is? Okay, yeah, it's quesadillas. No, we got to get doing Napoleon Dynamite now.
Yeah.
He said,
there's so many. What the brother does
"Give me
so
some
many good ones.
tots."
Yeah.
And I
Anyways,
can't remember them all. Man, if I was that quarterback, I'd throw the football over that mountain.
hits him in the side of the head with a piece of steak.
Yeah.
You're just jealous because I'm chatting with babes online all day.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what? We're done. We're going to go on Napoleon Dynamite.
Let TJ finish. Jesus.
I'm good. Okay, anyways, I was like, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Rush Hour.
That's a good one.
I love that one. And then your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
I don't know that one either.
Y'all are weird, dude.
Search for the Holy Grail, Monty Python.
Oh.
You know, I've never seen that. Yeah, I know. I'm sure I would love it, but I've never seen it.
You would probably really like Life of Brian. It's actually better.
The hell's that?
It's a Monty Python movie.
Okay.
But they're making fun of Jesus, kind of.
Yikes.
But
Yeah,
they're not. But
Yeah. Is that your last movie quote?
That's
got
it.
our next guest on the line.
All right.
Next guest of the night is going to be brought to you
Shut up, TJ.
by Guts Racing.
The
Andy
other
Gregg.
guest is on there listening to us make fun of Jesus.
Yeah, you. Andy Gregg and the Guts Racing crew continue to provide the best seats and foam available. If you want the same seats used by Rockstar, Husqvarna, Hep Suzuki, and many more, then you need Guts Racing. They have numerous color possibilities, staple or Velcro installation options, wing seats, and the best foam in the business with the Phantom Ultralight Seat Foam. Don't forget, they have complete seats for the Tulare and the Super 73 and covers for the Sur and the Segway. They strive to ship orders within 36 hours. So visit gutsracing.com and order today. Tonight, Guts Racing brings us also from the SLR Honda team, Mikayla Nielsen. What's up, Mikayla?
Hi, guys.
How you doing? Thanks. I really appreciate you coming on. I don't think we've ever had you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, yeah.
So right off the bat, we were talking about, we were doing our Barnett clutch performance of the week, and I picked Lala Turner as my clutch performance because she crashed, and I just thought she had a really great, weekend. And my co-host over here, Scotty, was making fun of me for picking women's racing, and he was like,
that is not where I went.
TJ,
That was me. I was making fun of you.
That is not.
No, Scotty was on your
Scotty
side.
said that he thought, he used to think like the women's racing is almost like, it's just like 65s out there. It's not that interesting. So I want you to just tell Scotty.
That is not
what I said.
I know, but I'm changing it, damn it. I'm trying to get her to yell at him because women's racing is freaking rad.
Now, the point I was making is that now I've enjoyed watching it because y'all battle so hard.
Yeah, I was trying to make him look bad.
Yeah, you failed.
We're kind of underestimated. Everyone used to use us as like a lunch break type of thing. And,
Yeah.
But we've definitely grown a lot this year. Like we had probably one of the most stacked classes this year. Like everyone was a winner at some point in that top 10 actually, and so yeah, we're kind of underestimated in that class. But we usually bring a lot of drama or a lot of racing. Now we have Lala up on the big bikes, and of course she sends it. And then we brought back Jordan Jarvis is back, and then obviously Kylie's been doing well and. Yeah, so it just, definitely a new generation, or not generation, a new wave of WMX racing, and I hope we can carry it. I know most of us are going to go to that WMX at Ironman.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, but I'm a little older than you, but I remember the years of Ashley Filick and Jessica Patterson just absolutely ripping, and I've always had a lot of respect for the women, and I've had Jordan Jarvis blow by me on a track, and it's just and I've rode with Sophie and Phelps. She's so freaking fast. I love watching the women's class because the top 5 or 6, like some of the ladies you mentioned, and Corey Steed, and it's just, there's so much talent. Almost anybody could have won that class, the WMX class this past week.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely had a stacked class this year, and it was really fun to line up with all those fast women. And you have so many different women coming from different forms of racing. We have me and Corey Taylor, and we're all off-road racers. Obviously, they're woods racers. I'm more of the GP, and then Jordan had just jumped into the woods racing. So, we had a lot of different types of riders this week.
Yeah, I want to get to your off-road background and all that in a second. But 2019 girls champ, you are. 2019 AMA Female Racer of the Year. And then this year you got 3rd in the WMX class, going 4.22. And then you also raced the college 18 to 24 class where you got 29th, which I feel like that's really impressive. But what were your expectations coming in to Loretta's this year, and how much moto do you actually do prior to this race versus your off-road?
Definitely the goal coming in was to obviously win. I feel like that's most of those top riders you want to win, and fortunately, I came up short, which is which is tough. But I mostly did moto in the beginning of my racing career, and then I switched to off-road after that, or that during that Loretta's year I had won. But yeah, this was only my second year at Loretta's, and the first year I went, I was on super minis in the girls class. And yeah, my moto scores were like 232, and I ended up on the championship. And this year I kind of screwed myself with that first moto going fourth. I fell in the first lap and then tried catching up. But, you know, I felt like my speed was there. But yeah, the expectations were to win, obviously. But I mean, not to dwell on Loretta's, like, I feel like a lot of people, it's everything to them. And to me, I feel like I have a wide range of what I want to do in my career, and I don't really want to peak at like a Loretta's championship. You know, I feel like I could make the best out of this career with what I have in the team. So I feel like I'm kind of just in the beginning of that journey. And yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the state of WMX right now? Or just women's moto, off-road, all of it? Because we just talked about the talent pool. Women's, the pro series is back to some degree. I would like to see it on Saturday at all the nationals. That would be ideal in my opinion. But what do you think of the state of women's moto today, this year, and where do you see it going?
This year, at least on the West Coast, we're kind of scarce with riders over there, but I feel like we have some numbers coming up that are a little younger than us. Obviously, when Brandy raced, she had a little bit left, and then I was that younger generation coming up, so I'm expecting it to be like that. And then with the East Coast off-road, we have like tons of women in that class, and that's usually where most off-roaders go to try and make money and make a career. And then in our women's class this year, we had a pretty good lineup, so I feel like we're definitely on the upcome, and everyone's trying to make a push for that. We started that WMX, so someone's trying to push for us, and I really hope that kind of picks up because obviously I turned 19 this year, and I really don't want to just go move my whole life when all my family's here on the West Coast to the East Coast to go race GNCC just to kind of like make a living. Like, I'm still in college and I just can't make that move, so I'm really hoping this WMX picks up and something can kind of happen with that. But I feel like we're on the upcome. We had a really good out this year, so I'm excited to see where this goes. I'd love to see it on a Saturday, but I feel like we have a lot of like male haters out there that don't want to see that happen. But
yeah, like
I mean, at least at the start, we're gonna race. At least we're gonna race on Friday. That's what I've heard, that we're gonna race on Friday with that combine. But I mean, it's a start, so you can't be too mad. You know, you gotta be grateful for the small wins that are kind of growing right now.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted to ask you, since you kind of touched on it, you're doing West Coast, which is like you're doing the National Grand Prix Championship, right?
Yeah.
And do you do works also?
I kind of here and there will show up at the works races, but this year Mark wanted me to do more NGC and moto because they're both moto and off-road team. Like, they're starting to get more into the amateur moto, so he wanted me to represent them in the women's class in moto, which is what I really wanted, switching from KTM to Honda this year.
Yeah, I guess the reason I was asking that is, have you considered, you didn't want to move to the East Coast, but have you considered just coming out, and maybe you have already done a GNCC? The women's class there is very heavy. A lot of really talented ladies there.
Yeah, so I've done 3 GNCCs, but I wasn't old enough to be in that WMX. So I just raced like the women's A on that morning. That's a couple lines behind them. I did Ironman and I did Georgia and Florida. So it was really fun. Like those is it 2.5 hours or is it 2 hours?
The morning race is 2 hours.
Yeah, so those 2 hours honestly weren't as grueling as like an hour and a half. And the GPs obviously were going wide open, and that you can kind of think more and preserve your energy. But I mean, if I got the opportunity to go out there, and I would love to try and race one and see what I can do in that class.
Okay, yeah, they're fun. I've done a few of the amateur, the like plus 45 class, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Go ahead, Scotty. Yeah. Sorry.
It's gnarly how many kids are out there. Like when I went to Ironman, we had 1,000 guys in that club morning.
Yeah, and you girls are in my group. Like they go first, and then they catch me by like hour 2, or maybe an hour and a half in, and I'm so excited. Like every year, I'm looking for Rachel Archer to go by so that I know I don't have to do another lap. Yeah. So anyway, go ahead, Scotty.
Hey, Mikayla, I thought, I was looking at your results, and I thought it was really cool that you not only did the women's class, but you also did the college boy, and so it
Just
kind of
college. We can't call it college boy.
College girl.
College person.
Yeah, just call it. It's listed as college.
You can get mad at Loretta's because I just read what the page says.
No, I know. We make a bunch of
He's trying to get me canceled, Mikayla.
Trying to get you in trouble.
Anyway, so that kind of puts you in a unique position that a lot of the people that go to Loretta's don't have to deal with. One class, you're one of the favorites, and another class, it's a different set of competition. So how is it changing your mindset going from, one class, your goal is one thing, and another class, the goal is completely different?
I've always loved doing the boys class along with the girls class.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we're going to travel all the way out there, it's a lot of money just to do one class.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely my big goal this year was to qualify for college boy, and I actually got a third in Hangtown, and so I was extremely happy with that, and I felt like it showed a lot. It showed a lot of people who I am as a rider. I can qualify for a male class.
Mm-hmm.
At Freestone, I actually did college when I got a 10th one moto, and so I was like, I got it for Loretta's. Like I can get like a top 20 or top 15, which was what I was shooting for, and I definitely could have been up there, but I like had some bobbles and mistakes, and it was a few run-ins with some of the boys, but like I don't know, I know I just wanted to kind of go out there and have some fun and be grateful I even qualified, because I know I inched out some of those boys that were trying for it, but it was gnarly because I wasn't expecting that many 450s in that class, and I just got outpowered like everywhere, and I was not expecting it, but I mean, I was just happy to be there, to be honest. Like, it's not too hard switching that mental capacity. It's more of keeping my speed in check, racing those boys. I liked racing them at Loretta's because then I can be like, okay, I'm running with a faster pace. Like, I get a feel for that, and being kind of outside my comfort zone, really, I felt like helped me with my women's racing growing up. So, I mean, it didn't really affect me. The last day, I had both college boy in the morning, and then I had women at 3. So that was a little hard on me, because I was like, well, do I play it safe and not race college boy, or do I save my energy for women, or do I use it as a warm up? But like anything can happen. So that was when it kind of was hard on my mental game about like what to do that day. But I think I was running 20th on the first couple laps, and then after that I was like, not going to risk it. So then I kind of just not put it around, but I backed it off a little bit to save it for the win.
Do you notice that the boys try to race you a little harder, or do you see any difference in how they race you and maybe how they race each other? Or
they're the ones that need to be canceled, not me.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God, growing up, it was, oh my God, still to this day, it's gnarly. Like, I'm like, you guys need to have some respect sometime, but that's when you're racing like some immature kids. Like, you can tell who's mature, who's not. Like, when I'm racing some of these boys. But in 2019, when I qualified for my first Loretta's in that girls class, I also qualified for a mini senior too. And I had last lap I was 5th, and I had to get that 4th. And I think I was getting rid a little dirty by that one kid that was in 4th, and I just sent it and took his front wheel out, and then it was a big hassle after that moto with the dad coming at me in the sun too, and I was just like, I mean, I'm used to it. Of course, you have those dads on the lines that will like yell at their kid, "Don't get beat by a girl." So I mean, most girls kind of get intimidated about it, but I don't know. It just makes me feel good about myself that like the dads are worried about me being their kids, and then obviously you have some of the kids that just aim for me every moto or something like that. They don't want to get beat by kids. Or the one thing I found out at Loretta's, I feel like I have really good speed, endurance. So I would kind of catch some of those guys that would throw the anchor out, and once they saw me, they just started pulling out. Like that was their carrot to not get beat by me.
Yeah, that's funny.
Real quick, I was thinking about, as you were saying it, my son went through Futures about the same time that Jarvis did, And
Yeah.
she was actually rude to him and used him as a braking bump a few times. So run over him, I think, twice during the whole thing. So, anyways,
That'll happen.
Yeah.
so I have a question. This is kind of maybe out of left field for you, maybe not. With the stuff that's going on with the Olympics and men and women's sports and all that kind of stuff, has that, I mean, obviously our sport doesn't seem to be affected by that yet, I guess is the way to put it. But is there any thoughts you have on that stuff?
About
Like
the women getting coverage?
No,
I think he's talking about like a boy identifying as a girl and racing the girls' class.
I mean, like our sport. I mean, we're kind of not leaning towards that.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like
that
I know,
side, but I mean, like, of course, I get the joke saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna switch your class because I'm not winning my class, and I can go win yours." I'm like, all right, well, I mean, there's more money in the boys' class than this class, but like, go ahead, I guess. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, like, thankfully, we're not in that type of industry where that could happen anytime soon. But I mean, you never know. But
sure,
you definitely get all those jokes from those boys that aren't winning their class. They're like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go race yours and put a ponytail on." You know.
Well, I know that, but do you have any thoughts about when you see? Like there's that woman swimmer who was doing really good, but then the guy comes in and
I don't even know what he's talking about.
I want to hear the motocross stuff.
Yeah. Well, no, my question is like, what are your thoughts about that kind of stuff, or do you even pay attention at all?
The swimmer one, yes, because I played water polo growing up, so I definitely know like the entire disadvantage of playing against men, and so it was obviously not one of my favorite things to see, and I'm just glad that that woman was strong enough to kind of stand up for herself and make what was right. So
awesome.
I definitely look up to those type of situations that the girls are strong enough to like use their voice. And I know that if I were to ever come across that kind of situation or any situation where I need to stand up for myself, like I have those women to look up that had already did it and that weren't afraid, you know?
Oh, I like that. Cool. Very good answer. Yeah, you mentioned water polo and I had that written down. I was kind of going through your Instagram trying to find things that you were interested in to ask you about. That's a limited sport, it's not a super popular sport. So, how did you get into water polo? And I would assume that
a lot of horses
there's some muscle. It takes a lot of what's the word I'm looking? Core muscle.
Yeah. So my sister played water polo, so I kind of just did what she did because growing up I've gone through all public school. I'm still in college,
Yeah.
So my parents always let me have that childhood. Like it wasn't like you need to race moto. They let me have like the freedom of whatever I want to do. So I did a lot of different sports growing up, and I don't know, I just really enjoyed water polo and like the physicality of it. And it's a brutal sport to be playing. It's like kind of rugby in the water. You're just always wrestling, and we have like 3-hour practices where we're just treading water the whole time or doing conditioning. And so, yeah, I did that in high school. I also did track and field. And then, I played water polo. I played 1 year last year with my college. I played 1 year with them just to say that I did it, just not letting my life be completely moto and have some freedom. Cause I feel like some kids kind of get burnt out if their life is just strictly moto. But, so I obviously had a great childhood, and I can never be like, oh, like my life is only moto. Like I'm really grateful for what I always grow up with my parents, and definitely my parents put a lot of emphasis on education, which is why I'm in college, unfortunately.
Right. Nothing wrong with that.
Like I just finished my summer class right before Loretta's, and I was praying like I need to get this done for Loretta's because I cannot be trying to do this and trying to race at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, Loretta's Wi-Fi is not the best to finish college.
No,
it wasn't bad when you paid for it.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it wasn't bad.
Oh, okay.
That's the only way it works. But yeah, mine worked all week.
And Mikayla, it's cool that that. So I've heard experts say, and they've done studies that really the only sport that has a higher heart rate than moto is water polo.
Oh really?
So
I thought it was soccer.
Soccer too.
Yeah.
Soccer, water polo, and motocross are like the highest. Cycling's up there. You just like the hardest sports or what? Like it's got to be cool cross training.
I've always loved, challenges growing up. Like I just always wanted to try to be the best at my sport. So I think I just always did water polo because not everyone could be good at it, and I just wanted to be good, and it's a pretty cool sport. If you know how to play and all that stuff. But yeah, it's definitely not a big sport. But yeah, I played water polo most of my life, and I never had to do like training because I was always in the pool. I'd go to school, have after school practices, and then I would skip school on Thursdays just to go ride so I can get some training in. And yeah, like after I graduated from high school and then I did that 1 year of college, after that I didn't know what to do with training. Like I didn't know where to start. I didn't know, like I couldn't train myself because I didn't know what to actually do. Like I was always told what to do and I'd do it. So that like this off season last year and then beginning of this year, like I was kind of completely lost with my fitness. I wasn't out of shape, but I just didn't know what to do correctly. And then like I don't know if Parker told you about Tom Danielson, but he's kind of taking me under his wing, and I just picked up cycling like a month before Loretta's, and so I've been just taking that program to the next level, thankfully for Tom and the team bringing him in. So yeah, that was kind of hard trying to figure out what to do with training, but I picked up cycling and another hard sport. So yeah, it's interesting trying to learn other things and trying to learn what works best for me and how to go about training strictly for motocross instead of training for both sports.
Yeah, it's very cool. Last question for you, or this last topic. You've won 5 of 6 at the pro women's class at the National Grand Prix Championship. I think there's 3 to go. When's the next race in that series? And is there any conflict between that and any of the women's motocross races that you're going to do?
So our next round, so we just had summer break. Our next round is at Ridgecrest, September 28th. And then we'll have Blythe, Arizona, and then we'll have Havasu, Arizona. I don't know if you guys know about any of those, but
yeah,
those are pretty gnarly. So, I mean, there wasn't really any conflict. Last year when I was on KTM, I did the hare scrambles, and then I did NTBC. So that had a lot of conflict with some of the moto races I did. Like Freestone's one of my favorite amateur races, and I had to miss that last year. But that was when I was trying to be mainly off-road and try to be with KTM on that side. And then Mark picked me up and was like, hey, we want you to do both. And like, I was pretty much told, like, I obviously love both sports and I love moto. And, to go back to your question about training. Yeah, I mostly just train up, tracks. Like Glen Helen is kind of fast and off-roady. I mean, it's not completely off-road, but
right.
Yeah, I don't really go out and just go train like Baja or something like that. Like I just kind of go to the moto tracks and kind of clean up some of my technique and stuff that will help me in off-road and all that stuff.
I've done a little riding out on the West Coast in the Des, which I think is similar to some of the stuff you do. I went Aidan and Chris Kiefer will take me out and try to kill me, and I don't like it. It's scary.
Oh, I think I saw that video.
No, you didn't.
I remember that. Yeah, because I remember someone telling me like, oh, like Kiefer's and Darkside went up to the off-road, and I was like, oh, like I want to see where they're riding, like maybe I could go ride there. And it was a funny, my dad loves that video, like
that's great,
just all the jokes, all that stuff. Yeah,
right, such a drama queen. We're out of time. We got to go.
And me and a couple of buddies went out there riding, and we didn't have any trouble at all.
You didn't climb that hill. You didn't climb that mountain, that cliff.
No, I bet it was extremely hard. Okay.
Yeah, it was scary, but I do want to. I want to go back and redeem myself.
Yeah,
but it might be worse the next time. I don't know. I'm just not good at that stuff. And yeah, I was scared. I was legitimately scared. Anyway, glad you guys can all have a laugh at me.
We are too.
Yeah. All right, Mikayla, it was really great getting a chance to talk to you and get to know you a little bit. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, good luck with the rest of the season and all your endeavors.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. That's Mikayla Nielsen from the SLR Honda team. Yeah, great. Everybody saw the video. Yay, everybody. That was a good laugh. Yeah.
It's been a weird night.
It's a weird show.
I wish we had drops because we would pull that laugh.
Yeah. All right, Evan's coolant emails. We got to get through a few of these before we get Aidan Zingg on. Evan's waterless coolant protects your engine because it always stays liquid. Steam inside the engine creates hot spots and detonation, but with Evans, the metal is always liquid cooled. Used by HRC Honda, Factory Beta, USA, Ampro Factory Yamaha, and lots of other teams, regardless of sponsorship. Evans is in the bikes on the podium. Evans coolant emails. All righty, let's go with believe this is Vince Pell. Jason Anderson is a benchmark for the Pro Motocross Series. He has been consistently a top 5 racer for quite some time, but never really contending for that first and second position very often. So when you see guys like Hunter Lawrence and Justin Cooper come in, take positions that are higher than Jason, you know they're doing quite well. My observation on Aaron Plessinger is that he has improved over the last years and now is a top 2 of the 3 riders. Again, just slightly ahead. Okay, that wasn't a question. That's all I got. All right.
Well, I would say that, does that mean that we can see AP being like Anderson as far as like being a benchmark?
Bench.
A benchmark for like that top.
For the top 5, around that top 5 spot.
Yeah. Do you think AP gets a overall outdoors in the 450 class ever?
Nope.
Is it overall?
Yeah.
Like ever?
Ever.
Yeah.
I think, like a moto win.
Are you saying could he or will he?
Do you think he will?
Will he?
Yeah, so will he?
Will he?
Will he?
I mean, I want to say, it's kind of like, never say never, but.
Well, I'm not saying never say never. I'm saying, do you think
I know.
It's not that hard.
I'm trying to. Oh, my God.
He just burned
Yes,
up time.
I think he does.
Okay, that's super simple. Cool.
Never.
You're just upset because everybody saw your video.
No, I'm really not. All right.
No such thing
this
as
is
bad press.
just a couple of random emails with some random questions to get to know us. What was your favorite subject in school?
Lunch.
Math.
Lunch, like he's 8. Oh, I like lunch.
Yeah, that was my favorite. That's the only thing I remember about school was lunch.
I took math. I took school very seriously. That's why I quit, because they had recess.
Yeah. So you quit because they had recess.
So yours
that's my favorite subject. I mean, I guess you'd say, besides athletics or lunch, I would probably say...
considering those aren't subjects, really.
Yeah, probably...
Jesus, just answer the question.
Probably history. Hell, heaven forbid we talk on a talk show. Oh, my God.
But we also are up against the time limit.
No, our fans are having a good time.
We have guest schedule.
We'll be okay.
I think y'all arguing is burning more time. Come on, what's the next thing?
Well, I didn't get mine.
Oh.
Well,
I'm going to say
talking
algebra.
about cutting time.
So
Would it
math.
just be maths?
Yeah, but not past algebra. Once we got past algebra, I was like, I'm out.
Yeah,
but
once they started putting the alphabet in there.
Well, the
with
alphabet's in algebra,
Yeah,
but
I
then
know,
algebra
but-
2 screwed me up. Like,
Yeah.
it was just difference in teachers, I think. But I also liked literature.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't care for the writing part. But I like reading and trying to analyze the books a little bit. I just like reading, I guess. Really.
America should put me in charge of
Oh God.
the English language.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last one. What are your thoughts on putting the phone away when you're when you're out with your family? Like a lot, we're always people are just on their phone all the time.
So,
I'm not good at putting it away at all.
I watched a deal, actually, Jordan Peterson, I think, is who was talking about it.
Who's that?
Years ago. People who know
Somebody
who he is.
famous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like a very intellectual person.
Mm-hmm.
And anyhow, was talking about how, like, when you have your phone out and you're in a group setting or with somebody, you're saying, I'm talking to you right now, but this is also as important, if not more important than you. And so when I heard that, I was like, okay, so when my wife and I go out on date night, there is no, like we put our phones in the pockets, phones aren't out. It's date night.
Okay.
Now, if we go hanging out, you can use your phone or whatever, that kind of stuff. But if I'm with somebody who I want them to feel like they're important, I'll put my phone away.
I think this is actually kind of timely because this happened when I was at the Airbnb with the Kiefers, and we were all sitting around, they had a little fire going, and I was on my phone, and Chris was like, oh, yeah, basically, like, put it away, hang out with us. But if you're sitting there for hours, you kind of like, your kids are texting you, and there are some texts maybe coming through that are kind of important. It's like, okay, well, I need to look at this for at least for a moment. But then, like, I put my phone away, and 5 minutes later, Chris was on his phone. I was like, all right, dude.
Yeah.
So what have you, Scotty, you haven't weighed in?
Like at special occasions like dinner and stuff. Like hang. We always me and some of my buddies always be like hang up and hang out. Kind of is one of our sayings. Like get off the phone, man. We're all here hanging out. Like get off the phone.
That's actually the coolest thing you've said in a long time.
I wanted to hate on it because wanted to hate on it, but then it wasn't actually that bad.
Yeah, hang up and hang out. I mean, he didn't come up with that. But
No way.
No way.
All right, our next guest of the night is on the phone. He's going to be brought to you by EVS. Over the past 39 years, EVS Sports has established itself as the leader in innovation and technology when it comes to designing protection gear for today's motocross riders. Athletes like RJ Hampshire, Kyle Chisholm, Freddie Noren, Axel Hodges, and Travis Pastrana all wear EVS when they race, ride, or whatever Travis decides to do that day. Check out EVS-sports.com. Use the promo code Vital MX30, that's all caps, to save and gear up like the pros. Check out the new X-Axis Web Eclipse knee braces or the TP199 knee guards. Slayco 96 knee guards are all available at EVS-sports.com. Tonight, EVS brings us Monster Energy athlete Aidan Zingg. It's my little homie right here. What's up, Aidan?
Hey guys, how are you?
Doing good, man. Glad to have you on. We got to start off right off the bat because I don't think I ever got a straight answer out of this. And I was telling everybody at the beginning of the show, at the regional at Fox, you came up to me and was like, hey, I bet on you to win, and I don't know what would make you make that bet because I suck.
Well, I mean, I personally never seen you ride, but you carry a high reputation, so I assumed you'd be pretty good. So
you were wrong.
I still got my money on you for next year.
Okay, but just don't bet on me to win. You can bet on me to make it in, but I wouldn't bet on me to win. I'll be better next year.
Oh, you got it next year.
All right. Well, hey, man, first of all, congrats on your week at Loretta's. Super Mini won, second overall with a 5-1-1. You were super bummed after that last moto on that one, and then, of course, going 1-3-1 in Super Mini 2 and winning that. Now that you're a few days past it and you can look back and look at the positives and the lessons, how do you feel about your overall results? Obviously, Super Mini 2 is awesome. Super Mini 1 was the one you were kind of bummed on. How do you feel about it today?
Yeah, like, it's awesome every day waking up and remembering that I won, like, all that hard work was worth it, and I can continue to do that. And it's cool because everybody now, it's like people know my name, and it's already changed my life, and I think in the future it will continue to change my life, and hopefully I can carry this into big bikes into the future and just build on it.
Yeah, I don't expect you to give me any details, but I was talking to Paul earlier, Paul Parabinos, and you guys were having some meetings today. Is that what it was? Were there some things going on for the future? You're getting to meet some people that are important?
I mean, I can't really talk about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Being planned.
Things are going good. That's what I like, Aidan, because first of all, you two, TJ and Scotty, haven't really got a chance to meet Aidan yet.
No.
I met him at Fox. No. Good personality, and then I got to know him a little better this weekend. We kind of hung out for a few minutes at a time, and this kid, I like this kid a lot. So Kiefer's love this kid. Paul likes this kid.
So what it tells me is he came up to you and pretended like he bet money on you. He's trying to get in your graces to use the media access to promote his career. It's smart. It's smart.
Maybe.
It's real smart.
All I can tell you is he's a good kid. I liked his dad a lot. Really great personalities.
And he's got a cool last name. So
yeah, I mean, he does have a cool last name. So I think this kid's going to be something good. Either one of you got something for him?
Yeah. So the Super Mini class is, it's a really cool class. I love watching the higher torqued 85s with the 112s. It's super awesome. How was racing that class, and getting to compete and beat a guy like you beat Nick Way's kid, Vincent this year, and that had to have been one of your goals.
Yes, that's a goal. I always ride with him at my local tracks, and he's been the guy for the last couple years, especially local races, big races. He's always been the guy to beat, and yeah, it's awesome to beat him, and I mean, it's awesome to win in general, not just beat him, but it's also cool to have him around because I don't think I could have done it without having other people to push me, because it's hard in California not living in a training facility with other riders to push me, and having somebody like Vincent, I'm very fortunate to have that.
Why do you guys, what's the reason that you choose not to go to a training facility? Is that like, I'm sure your parents just kind of want to keep you around the house, but is there a specific reason other than that?
Well, the whole motocross industry is really in California, or most of it really, and also, there's a part of being with my family while I'm still on amateurs, and if I can make it work from here, then I would obviously love to do that. And, I mean, at some point, when I'm pro, I will have to move out there, but as long as I can live here, I would like to live here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so,
it feels like you've really stepped up your game from just a little bit of history that I've researched on you over the last year and a half or so. Is there something within your program that you feel has kind of taken you to the next step?
Yeah, a lot of it's mindset and just me wanting to win, but there's other stuff like hard work that really makes the difference. Like, there's been a lot of dieting and changing my training program, and we trained trainers. We pretty much changed everything, and it's definitely been harder, but it's definitely all worth it. Like when you get to Loretta's and you can work your way back from the back of the pack and still win motos.
Yeah. Scotty?
Yeah. It's cool to see you guys having to make this transition, and now that you're, before this point in your career, you're not worried about the diet and you're not worried about that stuff. You're just a kid, and it's cool to see you guys transition into this level. Now, what's the next step going to the big bikes? Or that you even going to focus on anymore? Now, do you have to start getting more strength because of the bigger motorcycle? What is your focus on getting ready for next year's Loretta's?
So I was talking about this today with my dad. I'm probably going to have to change up my dieting a little bit so that I can gain more weight, because for this last year, I've really just been trying to stay lean, because there's a chance that I still stay on a super mini for a whole nother year after this.
Okay.
But since it went well, and I think we'll have the ability to move up to big bikes, I probably need to gain another 10 pounds and just have more muscle on me and not be so lean.
And when I was little, I was like a skinny kid, and my grandmother always said, just drink a milkshake every day. You could just tell your dad, hey, you're supposed to drink a milkshake every day, and it's good, and you'll get fat, too.
Win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming throughout you're a young kid. How old are you right now?
I'm 15.
Okay, 15. I wasn't sure if you were 14 or 15. What did Loretta's mean to you? Like, what the hype of Loretta's as you've grown up going to this, all these different races, amateur races, Cal Classic, Freestone, etc. Where does Loretta's fall in the aura of moto for you?
It's like unexplainable. Like, it means so much to where we'll go to some tracks we'll go to some fan tracks just to replicate one section at Loretta's. Everything we do all year long just like revolves around Loretta's, because like all these other amateur nationals like Freestone and Spring Dating, they're cool, but pretty much you could get last at those races and win Loretta's, and I think you'd still have a really good shot of having like you'd get a good amount of sponsors and a good amount of help just because everyone cares about Loretta's.
Yeah, that's interesting. I kind of talked to you a little bit Sunday or Saturday before I left when you were bummed about that final moto or your overall result in Super Mini 1, and I was kind of telling you about like, hey, the Ryan Villapoto versus Mike Alessi results. And so I've been, talking to a lot of kids about this, like how important do you feel your results are there or versus actually just how you perform? Like if you get a bad start and come through the pack and deal with adversity, because I think that's more important. To go 1-1-1, yes, that's fantastic. Yes, that's going to open eyes. But I do think teams and managers want to see, can this kid deal with pressure? Can this kid deal with, he had a crash, but he came back, keep his head on straight, not do something stupid? How many people in your corner have you had these conversations about what's really important?
Yeah, I've had these conversations with Paul, and he said, like, yes, winning the championship is cool. If you go, like, 3-2-3 for a championship, that's awesome. But really what sponsors want to see is podiums, like winning and getting podium interviews. And you could pretty much go 1-1-30 and your sponsors would be happy because you're winning motos. And it's not like you went 2-2-3 and won the championship, but you didn't get any podium time to talk about their product or show off their product.
Okay, so yeah, your personality, you're being taught that your personality is a big part of this.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, and again, as I was saying, talking to him, you can tell like he talks.
Yeah, he's using you.
He's very mature. That's fine.
He doesn't like you.
Hey, when he wins a 250 Supercross championship, and I say, hey man, will you come on the show? And he says yes. That's all I care about.
No, he'd be moved on past you.
You forget about us.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit.
Yeah, B- to he goes from B- to A+.
Yeah.
Aidan Zingg brought to you by EVS tonight.
Aidan, with the you mentioned the trying to get the sponsors and not having more personality. Thank you, because like a lot of those podium interviews, especially I watched a lot of the Racer TV this weekend, and then you could close your eyes and it's like sounds like the same one over and over again. So like definitely bring that personality into your career. And besides that, are you trying to do like a vlog or anything like that to also kind of create that atmosphere of your personality?
Well, yeah, I've obviously I've been taught growing up like personality means a lot. You got to be a good kid. You got to be a respectful kid. That will gain you a lot in the sport. And it would be cool to show some way that I am a respectful kid, and I don't know, but I guess like vlogging like what Dean Wilson does, that would be good. I've never really thought about that. It's always just been a thing when it's your time to talk to sponsors and people that you need to be respectful and a good person to talk to. You need to be a good person to talk to when that happens.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't understand. Like, I see what the Deegans did, and I would think every young kid is like, I can make a lot of money racing dirt bikes and make a lot of money on YouTube.
But then everybody's going to do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not every kid can do that.
It sounds like he can.
Well, yeah, he might be able to. You're right. So, since we talked about Paul P a minute ago and Renthal, just what's your bar bend of choice?
My bar bend?
Yeah, do you know?
I think I'm a 821. I think.
Mini high?
Well, he's
what
not.
Is that? I have no. We change it very often.
Okay.
We mess with bar risers.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm not even sure what we're running at the time.
It's all good. You're running Renthal though. Paul P's happy.
Yeah, it's Renthal.
Nothing wrong with that. What about that pressure? You were kind of talking about it a minute ago. How big Loretta's is to you. Does that create pressure? I don't feel like your dad is the type of dad that puts pressure on you, but do you put it on yourself a little bit? Or are you able to kind of separate that?
So yeah, it was interesting. In the first moto, like when I got there, I was super nervous because like compared to any other Loretta's, I haven't even finished in the top 5 prior to this last Loretta's. So I was going in there just like hoping I put in the work. Like after the first moto, I got a 5th. So then in the second moto, I was still pretty nervous. But then after I got a bad start and crashed and came back from 10th and won, after that, it was like pretty much the pressure was off because I believed in my heart that I could win no matter what position I was in. And by the last motos, I was like, my mind was set to where I was like pretty chill on the starting line, like not nervous at all.
I dig it. This kid's going to be a champion. Yeah.
He said, "Oh, that's all it takes." It's just like that when you turn pro.
We just kind of had the talk a little bit ago, right, about what it takes.
Yeah. Once you get one, you're like, "Oh, okay, I can do it now." So then, that's cool.
You're a kid from Texas that I kind of know a little bit. Darren Pine won the first moto, I think, of Super Mini 1.
Yeah.
Do you know Darren very well?
Yeah, I met him once at one of the local races that we raced, and he's really good at certain points of the day, and it's really a shame what happened to him and his injury. That definitely does suck, and that'll be a long-time recovery.
Yeah.
But he was riding good.
Yeah, I went down to Texas Tornado last year and just did a weekend, and that's where I met him. But for you guys, if you don't know, he went out and won the very first moto of the weekend, and then in the second moto, broke his femur and got life flighted out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he's doing okay. He's recovering. I talked to his dad a little bit today, but I didn't know if you just knew him very well or not.
Yeah, I do. He's a really nice kid. It's cool because he's pretty small for the bike, and he sends it. There's a jump at Springading. It's like a triple step up that only pros were doing, and he sent it, dude. And he's a really good rider.
Yeah,
and he's come not having much. So
you can't give him too much credit for that because he spent a lot of time at Underground.
Oh yeah, big
yeah,
jumps there.
Yeah. You know what I mean. So don't think he's that cool. He's just done it a million times the laps out there.
He's just used to it.
With Aidan, we were talking earlier about how the track kind of evolved. I think that it looked like they were preparing for some rain. It never really came, and then like the first couple of days were really ruddy, and then it kind of got a little more worked in and drier throughout the week. What was your hardest moto? Did you have, one of the late afternoon? Both of y'all super minis were kind of late in the schedule. I don't know if y'all had, it seemed like y'all were the very last people to race. So how was it at the end of the week versus the beginning of the week?
So yeah, I didn't even race the first day of racing. Then after that, I was the first moto of the day, I think on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the hardest conditions because it's really hard for me to go fast on a smooth track, especially with not getting a good start because like everyone's going the same speed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I thrive when it's rougher and there's more separators and I can do it. I know how to do. So it was probably that first moto of the day that was hardest for me. Then I was the very last moto of the schedule, and that I don't know. That one was hard just because the track was so much different. It was so slippery with so many square edges. It was like, got to try not to make too many mistakes. But yeah, I think the 2 o'clock motos I do the best in, and I think it showed with my results.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Do you find it difficult training in California and then coming to like on the dry tracks with no ruts and no good berms, and then coming out east or to Tennessee and having tacky dirt and ruts and berms and just all the traction in the world?
Oh yeah, it's definitely difficult, but we find enough private tracks and sand tracks and rut tracks to like it's definitely harder, but you can still make it work from California.
Yeah, clearly you can.
Dark is biased because when he goes to Cali and rides, he sucks.
Well, he saw.
He saw it?
He saw. Yeah, when he bet on me, he saw.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that.
Awesome. All right, let me ask you a fun question. Who are your idols? Like growing maybe a few years ago, before when you first started getting into moto, who's your favorite rider? Who's your favorite rider now? Do you even have a favorite rider?
Favorite rider when I was growing up, probably Ryan Dungey. Favorite rider for like their personality, like currently, definitely Phil Nicoletti.
All right.
Favorite rider in general, probably Chase Sexton, just because he's the underdog.
Okay, those are good picks.
He says he's going to be respectful and nice kid, and yet he looks up to Filthy Phil.
Yeah, throw the middle finger up, and that's good stuff. Phil is he's the best.
Yes,
Phil's great. Well, Aidan, yeah. So what's next, man? What's the next big race you're going to?
I don't know. We're trying to figure that out right now.
Okay.
I don't know if I can say it.
Well, don't get yourself. That's fine.
Just kidding.
Well, I'll say right now, it's up in the air if we're going to do the SMX race.
Oh, okay.
We're trying to figure.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Do they have a future?
It'll be in Dallas.
SMX?
Yeah, Dallas.
Is that the one it's at?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one's 65, second one's 85, and the third one's
sweet.
B, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Dallas is the one I'll be at. So I don't get to go to the other two. It doesn't sound like. So we'll be at Dallas. So yeah, if you, I'll check in with you as it gets closer. And if you're doing that, I'll come by and we'll do a little interview or something.
Okay, that'll be awesome.
Awesome. Well, Aidan, I appreciate you having some time. It was really great getting a chance to get to know you a little bit better. And yeah, man, Paul P, again, very supportive. I texted Paul on Friday to ask if I could get a phone number for these guys so I could figure out where they were pitted. And Paul told me where they're pitted. He said, don't bother Aidan. Aidan needs to rest today. He's got 2 races tomorrow. You can talk to his dad. Do not bother Aidan. I was like, all right, no problem. Paul is, you know how you hear on the fantasy pods, like how they get super serious about their fantasy picks, like Paul and Dan Truman. He's the same way with his amateur riders. Like, don't mess with them.
Don't even look at him.
Yeah, don't even look at him. Aidan, dude, it's great talking to you, man. I really hope to see you have a bright future, and hopefully we'll see you in Fort Worth in about a month.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show.
Anytime, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Hi.
Right,
Thanks.
bye. See ya. Aidan Zingg, good group of kids on the show tonight. We still got to do the EVS picks for Unadilla, but what were we going to talk about? There's something I told you to remind me about.
Oh, I wrote it down. Where did I write
Did
it down at? I don't even remember that.
He can't read his own handwriting.
Do you want to touch on Loretta's a little bit more, just like my experience hanging out the first time?
First off, before we get into that, Sockgate.
Oh, it's.
I shipped them, man. I don't know. I don't know where they are.
That's all I care about. Okay.
Yep.
Moving on.
You believe that?
What?
You believed that?
I mean, I trust him more than I trust
I told
you.
I told them that they would he would get his socks when Marcus finishes the app.
Fair enough. Hey, how was, like I said, did you get in the river? Did you do
I did.
Yeah? And
One day.
Did you go swing off the rope swings? And
No, I don't even know where that is.
did you go around the bend, where it bent? Like
in the river?
Yeah. Did you follow it all the way where it been?
No, dude. I barely had time to get it in one time. Like,
but he was so busy. Hanging out with buddies.
No, it really wasn't hardly any hanging out. I was working the entire time.
I guess you had to use it for a ride.
Yeah, I didn't. That's why I said I didn't get to watch that many motos because I watched the Pro Sport and 250.
How many
Pro.
days were you there?
He got to go to Loretta's for work. He has it so hard.
No, that would be a pain. That place is so spread out.
I looked at my steps. I walked almost 40 miles.
Jesus.
And I spent.
No, yeah.
I worked like 6 hours, 7 hours in this. Like,
you didn't bring your bike?
I know.
Huh?
You didn't bring your bike?
I still don't feel sorry for you though.
You couldn't. Well, you couldn't. You had to register an e-bike or pay for it or whatever. So, and I just
your
walked.
bicycle.
No, because I didn't though. I chose not to. Also, because I didn't want to just leave it laying around.
Just hitchhike with all the golf carts. Somebody
a couple times.
Give him a ride. And they
I got a ride a couple times, but I was walking in between pits trying to find riders, and dude, yeah, it was. I mean, I got like 25 or 30 interviews. And I was very freaking busy.
That's cool. Like, yeah, I didn't know but you did get the water's so cold.
I got in one day. It really wasn't that bad. No,
so cold.
It felt good.
Maybe it was different than normal. It wasn't very cold.
Yeah,
it was cool.
Yeah,
but it wasn't cold, and it was so shallow. Is there? I guess where the rope swing is, it really
where so it goes along where all the pits are,
and
then right there, kind of where they usually have the pressure washer, where
like up the hill,
right there, it turns right to go around to her house and to the museum.
Yes.
When it turns right, it gets deeper there. It gets
okay,
and where the rope swing is only about 6-8 foot deep. It's not very deep, but the rope swing you're not dropping from. But then if you follow it around to like where the parking by the museum is, there's a bridge back there. Mm-hmm. You could jump off the bridge if the guard's not over there.
Gotcha. No, I really didn't get to do much other than I mean, I talked to a lot of people and had fun, but I was really working, man.
So you didn't do any of like go to the museum or do any of that stuff? Okay.
No.
I thought it was cool when I went, like to go check out the museum.
I never felt like I had time. Yeah. I was really, I had like a goal or a work I had to get to, and it just.
So in the evenings, you stayed where?
I stayed with Michael Gage at his Airbnb one night, and then I stayed with Kiefer's because Gage left.
So you didn't get to keep the Airbnb like. Okay.
No, well, Kiefer's were like, just stay with us because Eddie, their mechanic, didn't get to come. And so Chris was like, we actually have an extra room. Just come stay with us.
Gotcha.
And dude, I mean, Heather cooks and
no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I just didn't know if you're like sleeping on a couch or something.
No. Well, I did at the first night actually because all the rooms were taken. Michael was like, I slept on a couch.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kiefer's, I got a full bedroom. So
yeah, enough. That was a nice move. Yeah.
But it was cool, man. It was hot. But it was a lot of fun. Got to really have some cool conversations with like Cooper Webb and RV. And
did you ever go into the announcer tower? Did you get a?
Yeah, I went in there for every moto that I watched. I went and just stayed up there.
Did you ever talk on?
No.
So you went in the tower or up on the tower?
No, in the tower.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was in there with like Kevin and Weege and all those guys, and because the AC was on in there.
God, those guys just talk.
Yeah,
they just talk and talk.
You can tell, like it's funny, kind of watching.
We got to mention.
Okay.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
It's funny when you get like the last like Friday and Saturday listening to them, like you can tell that like
they're just making stuff.
Yeah, they're like they start getting like delusional. Not delusional, but it starts getting way out of random. It's funny.
See, I had so much work that I was trying to. I was supposed to leave Saturday afternoon, but I was like, I'm just going to get out here early because I'm so ready to go. But then I couldn't because I still had 2 more interviews to get, and I spent half the day Saturday trying to get those interviews. So yeah, it wasn't just like hanging out. It just wasn't.
I still would have traded you with my.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. I mean, it wasn't. I'm not saying it was bad.
Yeah.
But I was very, very busy.
The place is so big to walk around that track.
Yeah.
Was it hard to stay awake coming back?
No, because I got a good night's sleep.
Oh, okay.
And then I was there for 3 or 4 hours in the morning Saturday, and I ran to A-Ray's dad's house to get that Honda, and then I rolled home. It wasn't too bad. I was home by 9 p.m.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's only, like 8 hours?
9 and a half?
Yeah, it's not bad.
But then I had to go out of the way a little bit.
From here to Loretta's?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I thought it was longer.
I think the map said 9 hours and I also drove like 80, so that helped a little.
You weren't in an RV in a trailer, yeah.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Either way, it was a good experience. I plan to be back next year, and I plan on qualifying.
So if you qualify next year, are you going to try to get interviews and stuff, or are you just going to go as a racer?
I would like to say absolutely not. I might be required to.
You just go as a racer?
If Vital's going to help cover some of the costs.
Maybe you could just write a story about your experience.
Yeah, maybe that will be up to my boss.
Yeah.
That's a year away, but I plan on qualifying.
Let's just get qualifying out of the way.
It was hot Wednesday morning.
Yep, and then I went home. I quit. All right, let's do
reluctantly
the
got my
Evans
gear together and
Coolant.
went
Let's
to
do
the
the
line.
Evans Coolant emails and wrap this show up. We're at almost 3 hours.
Evans Coolant emails. We already did that. You mean
Or the
EVS
EV. I'm
Podium?
sorry. I'm literally
It's
just
okay. We
reading.
got you. We're here. We're here.
You got me. Thanks, man.
I don't know why, because I never get any.
Where's this love coming
Yeah,
from?
yeah.
Jeez.
That's. It feels weird.
EVS picks for Unadilla.
He feels like he's being like.
You guys want to do 450s or 250s for Unadilla?
450s. We'll do 250s for the next one because that's when Ken's going to
Ken will be. I think Ken's at the last.
Yeah, he's doing
Iron
Unadilla
Man.
and Buds at 450s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so 450s in. I'm going to go Chase Sexton to win, Hunter Lawrence, Justin Cooper.
Why?
It is a home race for Justin. That's a good pick.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Who wants to go next?
I think I actually have to pick the same thing you do.
Same?
Yeah, I'd have to.
Sexton, Hunter, and Coop. J. Coop. How about you, Scotty?
Sexton, Hunter, Ken.
That would be awesome.
That would be cool. All right. Well, this is exciting. I'm glad we're back. I hope you guys liked the Loretta's show.
It's different,
I feel
yeah.
like we were kind of all over the map, but I don't know. I had fun. Anybody else have fun?
It was been a fun show.
Good.
But Scotty didn't cry once.
Yeah, that's the only negative. That's my low for next. That's my low for next week.
That's the low. He didn't make Scotty cry.
If we can make Scotty cry at the beginning of next week's show, he could be the high and the low.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, if I'm not able to get my bike figured out, and I'm not able to go to Thunder Valley, you will definitely see me cry.
When is how
Dude,
long?
it's a month away.
It's
Fix
three.
it.
It's 3 weeks. I'm trying.
I don't understand, Scotty or TJ. What could possibly be wrong with your bike that would take 2 months to fix?
It has not been
No
that
money.
long. Yeah, no money and trying different things. I mean, I'm trying.
Trying different things.
All right, can
Okay,
we finish
that's a
this?
different
I'm
show
done.
altogether.
I'm done with you guys.
All right, I want to thank our presenting sponsors, Racetech and Yamaha Motor USA. I also want to thank Guts Racing, FXR, X-Brand, Pro X, EVS Protection, Evans Coolant, Barnett Clutches, T-Bolt USA. I want to thank Parker Ross, Mikayla Nielsen, Aidan Zingg, Avery Long, and Brandon Haas, all for coming on the show. I want to thank you two Dill Holes for being here. We will have a show next week.
Dill Holes.
I don't know who the guests are. What was the top 5? Did we decide?
You never let me finish.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Well, what's your top 5?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out next week.
We need to do it now so people can submit their top 5. So hurry up.
He doesn't
Have
know.
we've already done snacks. I thought
Do you see
I thought
how
of
hard
one.
this is?
Oh my god! I thought of one, and then I just now realized that I think we already did it. Did we already do?
We've done food and snacks.
We
and-
did snacks.
I think. I don't know.
I'll think of one. I'll text
Can
it
we
to
do? That doesn't help. I have to let them know right now so they can enter.
you. Top 5 bullies of all time.
Okay, hey, that's good. I mean, there's movies, and I mean, it
Yeah.
might be movie bullies, but fuck it. Oh, damn. We just got demonetized again.
We got extra
Top
demonetized.
5 bullies of all time.
And I did say retard during the show.
Jesus, we're out.